Everybody has a future, say now. Ba-da-da. Let your teardrops fall. Everybody has a future, say now. Ba-da-da. Let your teardrops fall. Ba-da-da. Oh, yeah. Ba-da-da. Oh, yeah. I've got the sun on my shoulders and my toes in the sand, and my woman left me for another man. Oh, but I don't worry, I just sit and relax, toss up my heart, see where it lands. On and on, I just keep on trying, and it smiles, it feels like crying. On and on, on and on, on and on.
Gosia uli die sombranzelten meg et zu ite salude antes diu hum niga Radzaudzen melek és frédzes, durant in todo in memu. A nogi distancia, como kupugi palu. Zangiman malak guafi. Ikonuna sugi airi preba tu la noci nai banderata gaigi pues atan fanni bandera kau Esta pagua pumalalapa Giluk tanu man libri Sentamiti man ko badi
Tamoru purita nota kantai matu nanyagi todu ilugat para i honra para i gloria abiba is la sin para i honra para y gloria abiba is la sin parar todo y tiempo y paz para hita dan gini langit na bendition Conchai peligro na fan sofuham Zeus protegis languahon Conchai peligro na fan sofuham Zeus protegis languahon
Osaina, Oemiti, Ninumari, Amines Kunta, Ninale. Osaina, Oemiti, Ninumari, Amines Kunta, Ninale.
your island, and when I get off, I come back again. Oh, why would I want to leave? Where the trees are palm and dance with me, where a real good song is from a magic day. Oh, I so lucky. 'Cause I love Guam, I love you. I've got love for all my jet loose. I love girls born on Guam. They're the ones who make all of us strong. Cause I love Guam, I love you. I've got love for all my jet loose. I love girls born on Guam. They're the ones who make all of us strong. I love Guam, I love you. I've got love for all my jet loose. I love girls born on Guam. They're the ones who make all of us strong.
Good morning, Guam. Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. You are looking live, not at a shot of the ocean, but of the sky, and it's a little dark.
It is, but don't worry. We have the National Weather Service coming in about 36 minutes or so to give us the latest on tropical depression 20. 20, yep. Mm-hmm. All right. So if you guys are feeling a little down this morning, it's because there's a tropical depression on the way. So Lat and I, Let from the National Weather Service, will be on. Good morning.
Trina Rosario has a beautiful comment saying it's the most wonderful thing to hear this first thing in the morning.
It
It's the
sure
most
is.
wonderful thing to read your comments first thing in the
Yes,
morning. So
the
thank
late
you guys.
mayor of Jotnya, Ken Joada, with I Love Guam right there. A great song that'll live on forever. Prim, you made a great song. Rest in peace up there. But, yeah, I mean, what? Calling your song I Love Guam, guaranteed. Definitely going to go down in Guam history. So, yeah, we love starting the show with that one. Good morning, Facebook Live. Good morning, F. Glenn Lujan of the Avadeza podcast. It says, secure your wigs and lashes with all this wind and rain. Done.
Glenn, of course, one of the many, many island teachers getting ready for return to face-to-face learning next week.
Correct.
But
That's
starting
right.
today, St. Anthony's Catholic School in Tamuning,
Oh, that's right. Yep.
including a KUAM kid, Brock Matanani, getting ready to go back to school.
So that's why Bree is furiously typing so we can hurry up and do the news and she can go drop her boy.
Is he all ready to go, Bree?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Jay. Elizabeth Agagi. Wow, Chris, you have quite a nice collection of Island Print shirts. Thank you so much.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Wait, what kind of flowers are those? I'm finding?
This is I don't know, but the shirt, like, I could just go back in the jungle and I totally blend in. It just looked like arms and a head sticking out. Joseph.
That's natural green screen right there.
Yeah. Joseph Paris was looking forward to Jason's KFC TikTok this morning. We can play that again for you by request. We're just going to send KFC. Hey, they're requesting your video. It's great stuff. Good job, Jay.
Thank you. So
Awesome.
I picked up a acai bowl for my mom yesterday over at Brutal
Oh,
Wings
did they
across
ask
the
you to
street.
do the dance?
Immediately somebody was like, "Hey, aren't you the guy who was doing the TikTok videos at KFC? I'm like, thanks for watching. They're like, dude, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I
You got nice haircut. Look at Jay, how handsome he looks today.
Thank you. It's
Look into your camera.
It's been about 10 weeks. It was time. So
Wow. Well, I got to level up now.
I felt really, really safe. But I mean, the floor when I was done and everything like that looked like a sheep had been sheared.
Wow.
There was a lot, and I got that. That you and I have the same classical Micronesian hair. If you don't put gel and everything like that, poof.
Yeah.
Defies gravity.
Well, good look, Jay.
Thank you.
Joe Sir, good morning. Also, Mary May Macias, good morning, everyone. Bev Test Jay Solis, a regular off a day from today's road in Chalampago. San Agustin Camacho Helen Hoffaday, good morning, Guam, coming from California, missing my island. Joseph Paris, who sells Tenactec this morning? That's good. Normalize Tenactec in the morning. Who else got her? Trina Rosario. It's just beautiful to hear this I Love Guam first thing in the morning.
Yep.
Love from Washington. Good morning, Trina. Roberto Fragasini. Buongiorno, Guam. Hey. Kenneth Paulino, good morning. Marcia Luan, good morning, KUM family.
You know our friend Signore Fracassini?
Yeah.
He is like the U.S. Postal Service. Through sleet, through snow, through driving rain, he will take his morning run.
That's it. Pants it. Liz Agagi likes comments here. I like those kind of haircuts for men. Way to go, Jay.
Thank you.
Mama Bear, loving the new cut. Looking good, Jason. Yeah, so Joey and Vanji Gogui, Banana Sizua's Team Link, Dark Clouds and Tizen. Thank God, just finishing our steps up. COVID testing setting up now, praying for a safe day. Yeah, so I wonder with this weather, what will happen with the COVID-19 testing.
Yeah, so, and interestingly enough, the numbers last night, rather interesting because we were telling you yesterday, Public Health had mentioned really early in the morning on account of the fact that we were expected to have bad weather, the Tizen and Northern Health Center testing sites were postponed.
Yeah.
And then Public Health later said, okay, well, we took a look at the weather. We asked the NWS, and they said we should be we're opening up Tizen from 12 to 2. They still processed 1,426 tests, and that's not only the public ones. That's also assumedly the private clinics.
Remember, the mayors are reaching out. People keep sending me pictures of the letters, so they're definitely doing their outreach. And remember, when they do that outreach, they tell people, hey, go get tested at any of the public testing sites and then the tier 2 clinics. So,
but also interesting is, so as I said, more than 1,400 tests were conducted yesterday, 138 positive cases. That's still a very, very high number. But for the first time in about 3 weeks, our island's rate of positivity is actually back in single digits. Last night it was 9.6. I mean, it's been in the 13, 15, 18. Yeah. It went high as 22 for a while.
I mean, it's been so bad that anything is an improvement.
Yeah.
So anybody could look at this and say, oh, wow.
So single digit rate of positivity for the first time in almost a month.
Right. Yeah, so we did have 138 cases reported yesterday, and we'll have all that in the news.
No, I'm ready whenever.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, it's 6:30. Brought to you by Pacific Points with the very latest from the KUM News Team. Sabrina Salas Manzanani, good morning.
Half a day, everybody. We begin with the weather as the NWS continues to watch Tropical Depression 20W, located about 250 miles east-southeast of Guam and moving northwest at 10 miles per hour. Right now, maximum sustained winds are 30 miles per hour, but 20W is expected to intensify through Saturday, possibly becoming a tropical storm by tonight. There are no watches or warnings in effect. However, residents of the Marianas should pay attention and prepare in the event of anything. In the meantime, the following advisories are in effect: a flash flood watch, a high risk of rip currents, and a small craft advisory for Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. Make sure to stay tuned because we will have NWS's Landon Idolette joining us live on the link with a more detailed forecast. The island records its 182nd COVID-19 related fatality. According to the Joint Information Center, it was a 76-year-old unvaccinated man with multiple underlying health conditions who tested positive on September 5th. He died at the Guam Regional Medical City on the 21st. The JIC also reports 72 people are now hospitalized for COVID. 12 patients are receiving ICU level of care and 8 are on ventilators. Out of the 72 hospitalizations, 46 are unvaccinated. The vaccination status of 3 unknown and 23 are vaccinated. Public Health reports 138 new cases of COVID from only 1,426 tests performed on September 21st. 54 cases were identified through contact tracing. To date, there have been a total of 13,997 officially reported cases, 182 deaths, 2,989 cases are in isolation, and 10,826 have recovered. The CAR score continues to drop. It is now at 30.1. To date, a total of 117,044, that's about 85.8% of Guam's eligible population, is fully vaccinated. This percentage includes 9,978 fully vaccinated residents between the ages of 12 to 17 and 107,066 fully vaccinated adults. One woman is hoping she'll be all right after a mix-up led to her getting 2 shots of 2 different vaccines.
With the return to face-to-face education, her elderly mother staying with her, and the governor's vaccine mandate in play, GovGuam employee Jolene Napati finally decided to get her first vaccine shot on August 12th. She says it was the beginning of a major mix-up.
They made a mistake. My first dose, they gave me Moderna, but stated Pfizer. Now, when I did take my second dose, was over at UOG. Those people there just based off what my card had said or what has shown. So they gave me Pfizer. So in reality, they gave me 2 vaccines, which I was unaware of.
Napati said she was called by the National Guard shortly after her second shot. They explained the mistake, apologized, told her she should be okay, but to contact her doctor. So she did. She went to her doctor, and her doctor said,
I should be fine according to CDC guidelines, and he was just looking up online. And I told him I could have done that myself.
Napati got her second shot at UOG on September 10th. 10 days after, she tells KUAM she experienced headaches, but she says she hasn't had any other adverse effects.
I'm hoping nothing is going to happen, I just hope that it is safe.
Meanwhile, the National Guard confirms Napati's doses were crossed, and they say it isn't the first time it's happened.
We are tracking twice that it has happened. Unfortunately, due to some human error, where it may be annotated on the dose card incorrectly, and it happens, unfortunately.
But is it safe? And is Napati now considered fully vaccinated?
Now, according to the CDC, if the people get cross-dosed, like in a case like this where it was by accident, it's still considered dose complete. So there were no adverse side effects. We stayed in touch with these patients and made sure nothing bad happened.
Napati hopes her story makes people pay attention in case vaccinators aren't.
Be sure that you're getting the right one because, like I mentioned, they messed up on mine.
With all the stress getting vaxxed has caused Napati, we asked her if she regrets getting the shots.
In a way, yes, but then again, we just all want to be safe.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
President Biden just kicked off a virtual global vaccination summit at the White House. The world leaders and nonprofit organizations will try to figure out how to vaccinate 70% of the global population within the next year. Natalie Brand has more from the White House.
President Biden has announced the U.S. is doubling its purchase of Pfizer's COVID-19 shots to more than 1 billion doses to share with the world.
For every 1 shot we've administered to date in America, we have now committed to do 3 shots to the rest of the world.
The announcement follows the theme of global cooperation that he put forward in his speech to the UN General Assembly. The new vaccine donation works toward the ambitious goal of vaccinating 70% of the world population. But currently, only 43% of people globally have received a shot. President Biden is also pressing other wealthy countries to do more.
This is an all-hands-on-deck crisis.
The global push comes as the U.S. faces some criticism from groups such as the World Health Organization for planning a vaccine booster campaign, while many people in poorer nations have not yet received 1 dose. In fact, the FDA is preparing to announce plans for a Pfizer booster as early as today. Last week, an FDA advisory committee recommended a 3rd dose for older Americans 65 and up, as well as those at high risk. A CDC advisory committee is meeting today to begin its debate of next steps for boosters.
Given the types of immune responses we're seeing here, as well as the real-world evidence, this bodes well for the vaccine to provide substantial benefit to those individuals that are boosted.
Health officials must also determine what to tell Americans who receive Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines, since the current discussions focus only on Pfizer. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
And with more news, here's Nestor Lecanto.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Hafide and good morning, everyone. Here's more of your headlines on the link. GMH continues to be at the center of the island's attention, and senators held a roundtable hearing on the hospital that covered everything from COVID-19 to capital improvement projects. Daniel Perez reports.
Guam Memorial Hospital Assistant Administrator of Administrative Services Don Rabanal compared the highs and lows of COVID with senators yesterday.
The low points of COVID, as far as GMH is concerned, were really July and March, where we were averaging about 7 and 9 respectively. Unfortunately, the current COVID surge that we have now started in August, that grew from an average of 12 to about 41 daily.
Rabanal told senators GMH is at maximum capacity and has stretched the staff thin.
The maximum hospital beds that we have at the hospital is about 161 beds, so we're really surging beyond our current capacity now. So if you notice, especially in surgical ward, we are actually exceeding our maximum staff capacity. It's the same thing with SNF, Care 2 and Care 3. We're actually flexing our staff. The nursing administrators are flexing their staff to actually cover the requirement of care for our patients as they come.
Associate Administrator of Clinical Services Dr. Jolene Uggan said staff shortages have also affected GMH's ability to administer COVID infusion treatments.
We have to always have a bed available for a patient that really needs to be seen and admitted to the hospital. So if a patient comes and is discharged and we do not actually have staff to do the transfusion, they are usually referred to the transfusion clinic at GRMC.
GMHA received 300 doses of the RegenCov this week. They kept only 50 and gave the rest to help GMH with their infusion clinic. GMHA also reported that they received $26.5 million in federal grants. Daniel Perez reporting for Guam's News Network.
The Guam Department of Education and Taniguchi Ruth Makio Architects provided a progress report to the community Tuesday evening regarding the design for the new Simon Sanchez High School. KUAM's Isaiah Uggan reports.
The Guam Department of Education Leadership Team, the Simon Sanchez High School Administrative Team, the Simon Sanchez High School Planning Committee, and partners from Taniguchi Ruth updated the public Tuesday on the progress of the design for the new Simon Sanchez High School facility at the community meeting held on Facebook. According to Michael Makio of Taniguchi Ruth Makio Architects, the school design is 30% complete. He shared the goals and planning factors for the Simon Sanchez project.
In addition to the priority of community feedback, we have a set of really specific criteria that we're applying to the design. Principal Ms. Nayan touched on these. These include campus safety and well-being. So we want to make sure we provide an environment with resilience and the enhancements needed to help the high school mitigate challenges like the current pandemic, and to make sure that there's an environment that's safe from both man-made and natural disasters. Additionally, we want to provide a campus that allows the existing high school to stay in operation while we're building the new campus.
The construction for the new school could begin by next summer. According to Makio, the first phase may be completed by summer of 2024. The locations and types of buildings have been decided, which means they now have to decide how the buildings would look. As of last night, the learning institution will have a large central courtyard, cafeteria, gymnasium, library, and 94 classrooms. While the COVID-19 pandemic has put the lives of many across the globe to a halt, it didn't stop the Home of the Sharks from putting what they wanted to see in a new facility in 25 pages of paper. SSHS Principal Carla Masayan highlighted the hard work of the design team during the pandemic.
They have been effortlessly participating in almost all of the meetings that we've had with TRMA, and they have provided a lot of valuable information. So when it came down to talking about specialized classes, our DCs came in and shared their concepts about what an ideal classroom would be for their program.
According to GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez, the school will be purchased on a lease-to-own basis. He adds that the department will issue a request for proposal for contractors interested in constructing the new school and financing it once the design is 90% complete. In October of last year, GDOE announced TRMA as the primary designer, administrative consultant, and owner representative for the Guam Department of Education. Since then, TRMA has taken the lead to gather information and work closely with the planning committee to develop a design for a new SSHS that meets the core needs, vision, and mission of the school and its stakeholders. Reporting for Guam News Network, Guahusi Isaiah Ugan.
The Superior Court has extended a competency hearing for 27-year-old murder defendant John Richard Bass III. Bass is accused of killing 39-year-old Virginia Laguana back in June in a Hotel Mayana room in Tamuning. GPD also reported that a 19-year-old female victim was transported to Guam Regional Medical City for treatment and care. He was on the run for almost 24 hours before authorities picked him up in Jigo. Defense counsel Heather Zona has requested Bass's medical records from Pennsylvania. An extension of 45 days was granted due to the rise in COVID cases at the Department of Corrections. And some ratepayers may have noticed an extra insurance charge on their monthly power bills. It's because in January, GPA borrowed $10 million from its own self-insurance fund to hold down rates. But the utility began recovering that money through a surcharge, starting with the August billing statement. For the average residential bill of 1,000 kilowatts per month, it will add about $2.90. GPA says the recovery will be spread out over the next 2.5 years, ending in March 2024. The power company says this will fully restore its self-insurance fund back to the $20 million level. And Premiere Week continues tonight with the much-anticipated return of Survivor. After 20 years, the Emmy Award-winning series launches a new chapter featuring 18 new castaways and some fresh new twists. Here's a preview of the 41st season.
Survivor is back!
We're back, and the excitement and the enthusiasm and the energy is really big.
I'm here!
This cast is a great group of people. Lots of different stories from different walks of life.
I grew up in Sri Lanka in a tiny village with no running water, no electricity.
As a neurosurgeon, you are expected, even when you're tired, even when you're hungry, to still perform at the highest level possible.
My entire life, I've been having to outwork everyone else just to get a shot. And then when you get a shot, you have to maximize that opportunity.
There are a lot of changes in Survivor 41. First of all, 26 days. So that means it is a very fast pace.
Of course, Survivor is always 39 days, but even knowing that that is no longer on the table, like they're gonna throw anything at us.
And there will be some controversial twists. They will have no food, they get no rice, and they get only minimal supplies to start with.
I'll eat anything. I'll go eat a rat, I'll go eat a scorpion, I don't care.
There's also going to be penalties for losing. It's not enough that you lose the immunity challenge and have to go to tribal. You're also going to lose your flint until the next immunity challenge.
I want to not lose any challenges no matter where I am.
There will be new advantages.
Those idols are going to be mine. Advantages should be mine. You know what I'm saying? I think I got everything it takes to win.
We also have another new twist at Tribal Council called the Shot in the Dark. It's a Hail Mary. You only want to use this if you truly think you're in trouble because you're sacrificing your vote.
If you don't go for the gusto, as Wendell Holland would say, you're gonna get your torch snuffed.
There's also something I'm really excited about. It's called Game Within the Game.
Game Within the Game is an interactive experience for junior future Survivor players, where they'll have to spot and solve rebus puzzles hidden within each episode.
Survivor 41 is a new era of Survivor.
It's a wild ride from the start to the finish.
So buckle up.
And don't miss the 2-hour season premiere of Survivor 41. That's at 8 p.m. tonight on CBS TV 11. And for all things fall premiere, including the schedule, make sure you go to KOAM.com. That's it for now. We'll see you tonight for KOAM News Primetime. Back to you, Bree.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Thanks, Nestor. Peter Quifunas and Doreen Esther Cataro are scheduled to be arraigned in the District Court of Guam this morning. A federal indictment was handed down against them on Wednesday. The two were officially charged with conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine hydrochloride and attempted possession of methamphetamine hydrochloride with intent to distribute. Quifunas faces an additional charge of possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. They are scheduled to make their initial appearance and answer to the charges during their arraignment hearing at 10 o'clock this morning. From the legislature, a public hearing is scheduled for 10 a.m. today on Bill 123. The measure would require that any GovGuam employee that resigns after an announcement about drug testing is made must submit to drug testing or forfeit all rights to reemployment. The bill is sponsored by Senators Tony Atta, Joanne Brown, Frank Bluss Jr., Sabina Perez, Chris Duenas, Tello Taidegui, and Senator Clint Rigel. The public hearing on Bill 123 is scheduled for 10 a.m. With your news in Chamorro, here is Kin Conception.
Buenos noches to get sunto bitunut sa morgue ni KUAM News. Presenta ni Familian Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank. Sa paro matutunan ni nuevo na sa physical gi otra semana, kalansada na si Speaker Teresa Rai sa distipawgi magahaga, tasasangan tamano pa magasta kabali sa Disalapi American Rescue Plan, at dumidi dia matungo ni legislatura, tamano magasta, at sa matungo sa Paraguay Guam Power Authority, dyan para Guam Memorial Hospital, otra siya nagasto sa tada tabiat tumungo gi legislatura. Los de pago gobyerno siya sangan na 300 milyon pesos y 600 milyon pesos na lapi ARP sa para nuevo na hospital. Mas asunto, may extended the competency hearing para si Richard Bass III, 27 anos na edad, numatsaki na puno si Virginia Laguanya, 39 anos na edad Palawan, gi Hunyo na mes gi Hotel Mayana gi sa Tamuning. Iabagaw niya si Heather Zona sa may request para Zona Record Medico si Bass gi ng Pennsylvania. May prebe extension sa puri COVID-19 na kausa siya gi Department of Corrections. Después si Bass sa puno sa Mercy si Laguanya malingon halom para kana 24 oras antes dumagatsa ni polisiya gi Zadzigo sa maaresta. Masasunto gi ni Kotti at si matsakin na mamuno si Nicholas Wayne Moore sa Mayndight para otro na kausa. Sigo ni opisina ni General Abogao, matsaki si Moore ni otros kwenta na criminal sexual conduct sa pwedeng mapalizan ng menor edad no menos ki 16 anos na edad, gi December na mes gi 2016 na sakan, hasta Enero na mes gi 2017 na sakan. Kasi 18 anos edad niya si Moore guhitatin na tempo. Mas keso para ma-rain para dyan ay nasaki gi 13 gi Oktubri. Mientras gi Hulyo na mes si Moore sa negatsong niya Troy Damian sa matsaki pun mapuno sa Michael Castro. Ni ma-report na malingo gi Oktubri na mes gi mapos na sakan. Mahinday gi otritado na kausa si Moore pagkiraran tadisan mamaki, mientras manyunyugun ni masusedi gi Oktubri na mes gi mapos na sakan gi sa Agani Heights. At plead na guilty si Moore gi todo estidos na kausa. Yuto muna sunto gi finut sa moro gini ni KUAM News para pago na Webes, Guam Election Commission sa para matulay ka oficial niya, estagwato gi sa tamuning yuto mun este na mes, después ka na 45 años ki GCIC building, gi sa agat niya. Asal ba este na tinilay ka kasi 27,000 pesos gisakan para apas at kilon. Inuebo na lugar niya sa G. Oka building gi ni Mega Drug Pharmacy gi sa Farenhold Avenue. Mauso may opisina siyempre gi dia 27, este dia 29 gi September. Mababa do nuevo gi dia 30 gi September gi las 8 gi egan. Para Guam News Network, si Kin Conception. Yasuto gi finut sa moro sa presenta sa ninafato ni Familia Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With MoneyMap, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light, or when it's time to slow down, maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be with MoneyMap from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage. With generations of Filipinos calling Guam home, KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line. The KUAM Podcast Network is back and on demand, featuring a great variety of podcasts from our island and region, including culture, lifestyle, awareness, crime, politics, commentary, comedy, and entertainment. Available on most streaming platforms. The KUAM Podcast Network. Subscribe and listen now.
The Culture Club returns to KUAM Digital and KUAM News Weekend Edition, highlighting Guam's young artists, activists, and crafters as they work to protect, preserve, and promote our Chamorro culture. Watch this weekly feature on the digital platforms of KUAM News Weekend Edition, brought to you by Hanum.
KUAM TV has been on the air for 65 years. 65 years of growing, changing, and adapting to the needs of our local community. 65 years of making you smile, laugh, and cheer, and being there for you in times of tears and heartbreak, and learning to heal together. We've kept you on the edge of your seats, been a trusted source for you to turn to, weathered many storms together, and celebrated life's big moments. And now at 65, we celebrate all the firsts we brought you over the years and all the firsts that lie ahead as our world changes. KUAM TV, celebrating 65 years of firsts on Guam.
KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time off each Friday to talk, taste, and tempt you with all the latest and greatest food and drinks on Guam. Old faves, new hits, and everything else we can put in our bellies. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link, brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Devondale. This season, KUAM Communications is ready to go with more games, more championships, and more sports specials guaranteed to bring out the fan in you. Don't miss a minute of gameplay from NBC on KUAM TV8 or from CBS on KUAM TV11. We're bringing you all the action and excitement brought to you locally by Michelob Ultra, the superior light beer, Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, and Docomo Pacific.
Catch SportsLink on the KUAM News Morning Show, The Link, every Friday to hear about the latest in sports news, game schedules, athlete profiles, and more. SportsLink,
brought to you each week by Cure Alkaline Water and Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape,
airs every Friday across the multimedia platforms of KUAM. Tune into the broadcast on Breeze 93.9 FM on KUAM TV 11, live streaming through the KUAM News Facebook page, or view highlights on YouTube, KUAM News Facebook, and Instagram. SportsLink is hosted by Dave Delgado through KUAM Sports, and he will make sure that everyone knows what is happening on the fields, in the gyms, and everywhere in between.
The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV 8 or from CBS on KUAM TV 11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentations, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, Bud Light Seltzer, and Docomo Pacific, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications.
KUAM Communications continues our perpetuation of our Chamorro culture, language, and heritage with features available to our listening and viewing audience, including streaming of Chamorro music 24 hours per day on Isla Digital Radio on KUAM.com and the KUAM News app. Chamorro News Update, weekdays on The Link and the KUAM News YouTube channel. Conversations about life in our Chamorro language podcast, Cuentos Tapoco with Kin Conception, seasonal specials, shows, and other features highlighting the beauty of our language, culture, and history. It's a new era of our continued commitment to our Chamorro heritage. Isla, watch, listen, stream. Viva Isla!
Guam was once home to over 12 native species of forest birds, each with their own unique sound, color, and role to play in our ecosystem. However, the arrival of the brown tree snake has threatened their existence. Today, only 3 of these species still exist in the wild. But what was once lost can be restored. Join the Department of Agriculture's efforts to restore our ecosystem. It is only through partnerships with various organizations and the community that we can give our native birds a future. Support snake suppression.
Flora Conducto on our Facebook says, good morning to all. Please shout out for me, my husband, for our 45th wedding anniversary. Thank you.
Congratulations. 45 years of wedded bliss.
Yeah, happy anniversary, Flora, and your unnamed husband.
What do we...
we also have another one here.
What do we do for like happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary?
It's your anniversary.
Yeah, we got some Tony we can play.
6:58.
Do you know what today is?
It's our anniversary.
Nice. Happy anniversary from the link.
Anita Maternity Blas McHale. Can I get a shout out to my daughter-in-law, Fukuko Manabusen from Japan, and my niece, Lisa Delgado from Las Vegas. Happy birthday from mom and family.
I bet you if we screamed loud enough and everything, she could actually hear us in Japan.
Andy St. Nicholas.
Especially with the rain.
Hey, Andy, what's up? Long time. Off a day. Bennett Lujan Duenas. Good morning. 6:58. Patty Sablon, Manana Sidulas. Good morning. We got weather coming up with Landon Eilert in just a little bit, but we were looking at these numbers, Jay, and I just kind of wanted to ask because there was a media report that quoted the governor, and she had said that we were plateauing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, so the definition of plateau, I mean, I'm not assuming you guys don't know, but it's like when you're on a rise and then you kind of like level off.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel
this
like
is the new baseline.
Is this like the new baseline then? Is this what the plateau is? That we're
and is what she meant by that to say like the current numbers and what the volume and I mean the numbers are trending down a little bit. Again,
but I feel like that's so unfair to say because the numbers are like astronomically high. So I mean, a trend downward doesn't necessarily mean that we're okay. But then again, if the governor is saying that this is the plateau and that we should just accept it and get over it and get used to it, then this is the new normal.
Yeah.
That
we had 138 positive cases yesterday out of better than 1,400 tests. This time last year, if we had 138, that would be like next level freak out moment.
Yeah.
We would spend half the show talking about 138.
Of course, yeah.
And now, that's actually, and 138 now, that's actually an improvement over
199.
over the last 5 days. That's a
But
substantial
remember,
improvement, but that's still a really, really high number.
I don't want to be on this plateau. Like, I still don't understand why we're not addressing the transmission of the virus. Because, I mean, I don't know, and I'm not the doctor, obviously. I'm not anything, but it seems like a lot of our economic troubles, they really kind of, to me, it looks like they start with the positive cases. Because when we have the high number of positive cases, that triggers the travel advisory from the CDC, and they announce to the world, don't go to Guam because they've got crazy COVID, right? And so these positive cases turn into the people who need to be receiving the REGEN-COV treatment. They turn into the people who are filling up the hospital so much that we're now suspending elective procedures. So, I don't know. They say that we shouldn't worry about the high number of positives because Dr. Berg had come on and he said that, a lot of them aren't really that sick. And most of the people who are going to get sicker and die are the unvaccinated. And so I guess in this interview, the governor again had reiterated that they're focusing on the unvaccinated.
I wonder what specifically she meant by that, though, because context is everything, obviously,
Yeah.
right? So,
well, I mean, we don't know. I'd love to get.
If she said we're plateauing, are the numbers finally beginning to stabilize?
I don't think we need to plateau. I think we need to be in a decrease, right? We need to be coming down the other side of the plateau. We had a comment here, Natasha Marion Cruz, 138 positives, and the testing site wasn't even open their usual hours.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that too. But I mean, I don't know. Are you guys just at the point where if our governor says, hey, get used to it, we're just going to get used to it? Because I can't get used to, I don't know, maybe I'm just sensitive, but these people dying, these dead on arrivals, this whole idea that only the unvaccinated are getting sick and going in the hospital, it's hard.
And if you remember, we had Dr. Peter Lombard, who, like his crunching COVID data stuff when he comes on is stunning. I mean, it's phenomenal analysis, right? And when he came on, he was actually saying that he predicts that at some point we will plateau, that was last week, and he said maybe in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He was thinking that, and again, just completely conjecture on his part, but he's like, we might actually level off. But yeah, if it's still, peaks and valleys, that's not exactly balancing. But yeah, I'm really curious to know exactly what the Magahaga meant, are the numbers really starting to level off, like you said?
Well, I mean, I guess if we're leveling off at this level, it's acceptable. And by Dr. Berg and what he had said about they can't stop the spread, and now the governor coming out and saying, hey, people of Guam, just accept it, that, this is how it's going to be. To me, it just kind of reinforces that point that they can't control the spread, and that's why we're not seeing anything. Any measures that we're kind of used to, right? So we know what works to stop the spread, but clearly these measures and mandates that the governor put in place don't do anything about transmission. But it's just hard for us to put that together in our mind because we've been at this for, over a year. And so we kind of feel like we know what works. And so for the Physicians Advisory Group and even the governor, really, to kind of turn a blind eye. I mean, the chair of the Physicians Advisory Group called this rampant community spread a side thing. And so to me, that means that they're okay with this. I mean, obviously they're okay with the spread, and we heard it from the doctor himself. And this is the plateau that we're on right now. And so just get used to it.
I just had a thought. Do you think perhaps, because again, in my mind, plateau could mean one of two things. Like you just pointed out, it means that you've actually climbed the mountain and you've reached the summit. And
I honestly think, I don't think the governor, I don't want to say she doesn't know what a plateau is, but I think she meant maybe that we're leveling downward.
Either that, or I just thought another, if you'll consider it, another alternate definition would be plateau means you've actually gone as high as you're going to go, and now either you're going back down or you're leveling off.
Right,
so maybe she meant the worst is over.
I don't know, but I feel like we spent this whole pandemic. I feel like we spent this whole pandemic trying to figure out what the governor meant. And if we're changing the definition of plateau, it's just par for the course because we changed the definition to shortly. Remember that? It's 7:05.
So I wonder if that's what you meant, the worst we've been through the worst.
Right. Well, whatever she meant, it's clear that this is the new normal. Is that we're just going to be living with these positives. living with these deaths and just living like this. This is it. Get used to it, guys. A little insensitive, I think. Get over it. Get used to it. Accept it. But, I felt a big burden lifted over the weekend because when Dr. Berg came on, he said that basically they can't stop the spread, right? And then there was that whole conversation about the natural immunity and the hybrid immunity. To me, I really felt a big burden lifted because we'd been asking for weeks, right? And starting with Dr. Hoa, and Dr. Hoa had been, hey, we need to put restrictions in place so we don't end up with so many positives. And now it's just looking like he was absolutely right. But when Dr. Berg came on, and now with this governor interview that's going around, I feel like we don't have to ask anymore about why we're not putting in restrictions, because that's the play, is that they can't stop the spread. And that we just have to, in the words of our very own governor, get used to it. So that's it. And you know what I mean? I mean, it's terrible. I hate that we're not doing anything to stop these positive cases, because, again, I think that's the beginning of everything. And I hate that people are dying, and I hate this targeting of the unvaccinated when the vaccinated are spreading it and getting it and going to the hospital just the same. But I also feel like now I don't have to be stressing about what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Because now I know we're not going to do anything.
You know what?
I mean, as sad as it is, I don't want to sound like an ass, but now I just accept it. I mean, I guess I accepted that, okay, we're cool with all these people dying.
Yeah, if I could just do something, hey, Link fam, let us know in the comments. I'm taking a page from the Tomas Manglotna playbook, right? Like, let us know how you feel about this. Does the concept of the governor believes that Guam has plateaued? Let us know what you think about that and what you think that means in the comments and everything. Does it give you a sense of relief? Are you confused? Are you stressed out about it? Are you triggered and everything like that? Whatever your feelings are and everything like that, everything's cool, but please let us know because we would like to get to the bottom of this.
It's 7:07. We're going to take a quick break, and we're coming back with Landon Ilett of the National Weather Service. We'll talk about the weather as there's a tropical depression 20.
Yeah, and Landon just WhatsApp me, and he said he is getting some final. He wants to make sure we have the most fresh data. So he's looking at his charts. He's going to jump on momentarily.
Of course. Yeah, and I kind of get where. Well, actually, okay, I don't get it. I just. They should have done more. We had $600 million, and we're just hearing all these nightmares about public health. They're stretched thin. They have the isolation facilities packed, and we're just all these issues with public health and manpower shortages. Why didn't we do more, though? We had all this money. We should have hired people. If public health is short of staff, we should have hired people. We've had it since May. So I'm just not okay with it. I don't accept that we're just supposed to be cool with people dying. And, all these people getting sick and going on. I don't know. It's not something I'm willing to accept. But it is what it is. Hey, 7:09. We're going to take a break, and we're coming back with the weather again right here on The Link, which is brought to you by IT&E, Calvo Enterprises, Jack in the Box, and Pacific Points. We did have a few comments here. Jonah J. Manahani writes in, our governor knows she's in over her head and lost control. She's letting us be. We get sick, we get sick. If we die, we die. She has given up. Well, they definitely have put it all on the community, that's for sure. Jamie Lynn, Marie Lazama comments, get used to it shortly. Dwayne Santos, plateau? Has she tried climbing Mount Lam Lam? Guam has no plateaus. Let me see here. Tammy. Good morning, Tammy. Rosemary Laguatnia, don't forget that yesterday the governor did say she has a complete handle on this situation. I would like her to explain this with the increase of positives as well as the hospitalizations. Yeah. Neber comments, leveling off based on our population, I suppose. Oh, there you go. Guys, Gemma Bustamante, I feel confused, stressed out, and frustrated with this whole pandemic. Limitations and restrictions just make things worse, especially with the unvaccinated. Yeah. I wonder if the unvaccinated remember what it's like to dine out in a restaurant. Now we're going to take a break and come back with Landon Ilett from the National Weather Service on this gray, raining Katsangat Lagos Thursday morning. It's Palaxia the Maxi out there. Adai Talent. Good morning.
Take in the panoramic beauty of our island each Sunday on the KUM News Instagram with Scenic Sundays. Scroll through the natural beauty of the island on display. Scenic Sundays on the KUM News Instagram is brought to you by Addis Trust and Investment, Location, Service, Trust, and Haagen-Dazs Shops Guam, where every day is made extraordinary.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line.
Listen, watch, and learn from the daily Chamorro News updates from KUAM News. Catch them on the link during the 8 o'clock hour, streaming online on Isla Radio, or on the KUAM News YouTube channel for your convenience. Tune in and stay informed, all while preserving our precious culture through the daily use of our native Chamorro language. Chamorro News updates are brought to you by your familia at First Hawaiian Bank.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, where you get smart insights into your finances so you can make smart decisions with your money. With a daily personalized feed, you can compare your monthly income to spending. That's better. Discover where your money is actually going. You might be surprised. See what's essential and what isn't. The more you use the app, the smarter it gets. With insights from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage, with generations of Filipinos calling Guam home. KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Island where the sun isn't shining. Let me take you to an island. Hey, good morning. We got weather just a couple moments away with Landon Eilert from the National Weather Service. We did have some comments here. Good morning, Facebook Live.
It's a hot summer day and we all kicking back, sipping on a cold one. Now what you think about that? That's life.
Jamie Lynn, she must have forgotten what plateau is. Nothing is getting better. The numbers are crazy. Dead on arrivals. Come on, Governor. And there was another thread here in the comments section. If we follow, Natasha comments, and I like this one, if we follow what the stateside leaders are doing and just let it run its course, then it seems likely we will face the same outcome, that the hospital will turn people away. What happens when all the hospitals are turning people away? And then Rosemary commented, it's already started. Yesterday's caller stated that her 67-year-old father was sent home with pneumonia from Naval Hospital because there were no extra beds. Right. And I think what's also interesting is that, you know, the people of Guam, like, there's a small, very noisy minority that, you know, basically believes COVID's a lie, but a lot of people want to do things to stop the spread. Oh. A lot of people are spreading it too, though. Liz comments, everyone needs to do their part to help stop this virus from spreading. Be responsible. Wear a mask. Get vaccinated. People are spreading this virus. The governor's doing her best. People just want to put blame on someone. This virus is mean, deadly, and aggressive. Be part of the solution and not the problem. Get vaccinated, folks. Save yourself. No one else can. Don't take life for granted. Kinet Kamtai, vaxxed versus unvaxxed is just a bunch of bull. It's merely nonsense that the unvaxxed is the spreader of COVID. Our Magahaga will be the only one burying all of her people. Next governor will say all those who died unvaxxed is not entitled to the $10,000 COVID assistant bereavement fund. Yeah, that's tough. We did have a caller here, though, wanted to add his 2 cents. That's good because I went to the bank the other day and they said there's a shortage of loose change on the island. So we'll take your pennies, sir. Morning.
Good morning, you guys. Good morning, Guam.
Good morning, sir. What's up? What's on your mind?
You know, one of the comments you read earlier, I appreciate it. I agree with her. She's saying don't really bash the governor. Right now, this virus, not a lot of people know. Nobody really seems to know what to do with it, how to handle it. I believe everybody's doing their best, even you guys, giving out the media, but we should kind of tone it down because nobody really has an answer on how to take care of this situation. And just putting her down with negative comments is just, tearing her down too. And she's our leader. Us as Islanders are supposed to pick up our people, even though it's the situation's bad. We got to try to stay positive and motivate each other. Yeah. And this weather ain't really helping it out much too. But hey, I bet you everybody's appreciating all the money, the funds, if they're getting it. And they're still throwing out negative comments about her.
Yeah, but the money's coming from Uncle Sam, though. So,
Yeah,
I get what you're saying,
but
bro.
she's the one, whoever's getting it is coming from Uncle Sam to her, and she's deciding how to give it. A lot of people are getting it, a lot of people ain't. Just like the COVID, a lot of people are getting it, and a lot of people ain't. Just like the vaccine, a lot of people are getting it, a lot of people ain't. That's what the situation is in life right now. And just to spread, nasty, not even nasty, but mean, possibly hurtful comments to, anybody, not just our governor. Right now is the time that we all should be nice and really considerate. If you got vaccinated, good for you. If you're not, good for you. Chris, you always used to say this comment before, wash your hands. Hey, I really enjoy that because, honest to God, I have no comorbidities as of right now.
Yeah.
I'm a 29-year-old young man, 3 kids. I live with my grandparents. They're really elderly. My pop has a lot of comorbidities. So when I come home from work every day, I sanitize my hands. I do what I need to do before I get in my house. And I tell them I love them. And my parents, yes, stop with the negativity, because if anybody really had the answer, I'm pretty sure they would have said something. Hello?
Right on. No, I'm just letting you talk, bro.
Oh. Sorry if I sound like I'm a little emotional.
No, go for it. Let it out, brother. You okay?
Yeah.
Why are you getting emotional? Tell me what is making you emotional.
One, she is our first lady governor. 1. And 2, to hear all these, comments during especially these times when we can't even really be social with each other. We cannot really spend time with loved ones, and I go online to see not all the time negative, but a good amount of time negative, comments, whether it be about the mainland, whether it be about Guam, but majority COVID, and it's just, try spreading some good and we'll see. You already know if you're really old and you got quarter-mil or, you got sicknesses, yeah, maybe you should get the vaccine. Maybe you should try your luck with the vaccine because I am unvaccinated. I don't believe I need it. And I believe with the physical activities I do, the sanitizing I do, I will try, I think I will be safe, As for spreading it, I can spread it even though I got the vaccine.
Yeah.
So why would you want to spread negativity on somebody if you can give it yourself? You know, why are you gonna not service somebody's business or take somebody's money because, you know, they can spread it? You can spread it too. Don't forget that. You're losing money, businesses. So there's a lot of choices. I don't agree with the governor. Believe that. But, you know, I doubt you hear me saying, God bless the governor, you know, don't run again next year. I won't say that. And I don't expect my, you know, the people of Guam to be bashing her. And I hope you guys don't think I'm bringing down your morning because I love this talk show.
Nah, man.
I love you guys, dude.
I love what you're saying, dude. I feel what you're saying. There is a lot of, there's so much negativity out there.
Yeah.
But it's just unfortunate because I feel like the governor kind of brings it on herself because she doesn't really address the people a lot about why she makes these decisions. And so, you know, living in this time, bro, it's like everybody's stressed out and they really are looking to, like you said, she's our first female governor. And so when she was elected, there was a lot of fanfare about what type of leader she was going to be because you're right, we never had a woman governor before. And people were just so optimistic and inspired. And now I think a lot of people just feel let down because there was so much hype with that buildup. And they're just not comfortable with some of these decisions that are being made that they feel divide the community. And I'm sorry, at the end of the day, brother, it's the governor that's making those decisions. So I agree. I agree with you, though, that there's a lot of negativity online, but people can be critical of these decisions because it's impacting their lives. And they can also, you know, you can also say, hey, quit, you know, complaining. It goes both ways.
But, you know what I think would help the situation out with everybody? You know, you guys do your polls, right? Instead of doing polls on, like, should you get vaccinated or, you know, are you vaccinated? Do polls on, like, you know, do you guys have any ideas, you know, any ideas that can help out our governor in this situation? Do you guys home for, like, 2 weeks? Or are you going to, you know, complain to the governor? Why are you making us stay home for 2 weeks? You know, you kind of make everybody stay home, but I believe if there's little movement, you can control it a little bit better.
Right.
But ain't nobody want to get locked down because you cannot make money to pay your bills. But I believe that you know, to control something like this, you would have to have a lockdown. But heck no, do I want a lockdown? I need to go out and make money for my family.
Yeah, that's the problem, bro. Is I feel like we know what we feel would work, right? Because I mean, it's and the governor and her advisors, they say a lockdown doesn't work, but I don't know, how would it not work? You're right,
like
limited movement.
Chris,
like if you're limiting movement on the unvaccinated and you're saying it's going to work, I mean, it's not really though.
Okay, obviously vaccinated, unvaccinated does not matter because both of them are in the hospital.
Right, yeah, but your governor is the one who's pushing this whole vaccinated, unvaccinated thing. And that's why, I mean, our governor, yeah, and that's why people are frustrated about it. I totally feel what you're saying, bro.
But, you know, I think everybody should just keep pushing that, especially you, Chris. You know, you got a lot of, you know, fans and supporters listening. Push the wash your hands, dude.
Yeah.
Bring it back. Yeah. Wash your hands.
I know.
Social distance. Wear your mask.
Dude.
You know, just keep shouting that out, dude, and eventually
stay home
in their mind. Stay home if you ain't got a job or if you ain't got to go out and, you know, provide for your family. Stay home. Don't kick it with the friends all the time.
Yeah. All right, brother.
That's all my 2 cents.
Yeah, that was more like 5 cents, but we'll take it.
Hey, we need all the change, right?
Yeah, we sure do. Hey, you know what, brother? I appreciate about you is that you're doing what you got to do to keep your family safe.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, take it easy, brother.
Total respect, man.
All right, 725. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do feel, I don't know about a lot of people. The way I look at it, it's like I'm not really in a hurry to feel sorry for politicians. I'm not. I'm sorry. This is what you wanted. You felt that you had what it took to lead the people. And anyone. I don't care if this governor, that governor, whatever. But when you step up and serve, you're stepping up to serve. There's no draft, right? We don't draft these people to run for office. Is it a tough job? Yeah, of course it is. But there's ways that you can make it easier. And I think it's high stakes too. You know what I mean? This is not just you know, a procurement issue or what. It's high stakes. It's literally life and death. And so I feel like that's why people are more likely to come down a little harder right, on what's going on. It's 7:25. Let's go and head over to the National Weather Service, Jason. Okay, Jason Solis, good morning, my friend.
Yeah, so let's try and make sense of some, shall we say, easier problems to solve, like what the heck is going on with the weather, and who better to tap than the well of knowledge that is Landon Aidlet, speaking on behalf of himself and his team up there at the National Weather Service, where he's got a great shot up there at Teaden. You saw the geodesic orbs, some of the really, really cool gear that NWS has to tell us what's going on with that tropical depression. So, Landon, what were you able to find out this morning? Because I know it's been quite the long 24 hours for you, man.
Yeah, it's been a super busy morning, and things are playing much as we were briefing and expecting yesterday to occur. 99W, the disturbance that we were watching yesterday, has been upgraded to a tropical depression. Now it's tropical depression 20W. That was upgraded overnight last night, much as we are expecting, and it's going to continue to intensify today and tonight as it makes its approach to the Mariana Islands, likely as a tropical storm at this time. So it's been a very busy morning as we're pulling in the latest information, the latest data. We'll be putting on our second public advisory no later than 8 o'clock this morning. There will be some changes to our posturing as far as watches and warnings and advisories that are in effect. So be looking for that at 8 o'clock. It's been a lot of coordination calls with the Homeland Security Office here on Guam, as well as and the CNMI, as things are evolving. And so one of the tricky parts with this tropical system was the very compressed timeline, as we were discussing yesterday. So this thing is right on our doorstep. It's developing, and we're waiting at the timeline of its development and organization. And so we have to wait for that process to occur and get organized before we can start making actual calls for watches and warnings. That organization did take place overnight, and it continues to get better organized today as it makes its approach. I do want to point out the trees. They were dead calm earlier this morning, just ahead of the heavy showers that swept over most of Guam this morning. This drainage pond filled up with water in about a 15-minute period. So that's indicative of the very moist tropical atmosphere we are in right now. So the rainfall will be increasing throughout the day across the islands, but it's not going to be nonstop, widespread, steady rain. It's going to be coming in peaks and lows. So you're going to have periods of light rain, sprinkles or no rain, and then periods of heavy to torrential rainfall. And this is what happens in about a 15-minute period. We had some very heavy rainfall across central Guam. The winds are starting to pick up right now. They're very light here in Teaden, but the stronger winds are found across Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. This is a very asymmetric wind field with this tropical depression. And a lot of the stronger winds are indeed displaced to the north of that low-level circulation. So I'm going to go into my office and show you what we're looking at in the satellite loops.
Yeah. So we've actually got your graphic up too, Landon. Joser's got it on camera right now. So, and the funny thing is, we've been getting a couple DMs about that, and people are like, "Wow, even though it only says right now the projected wind speed is around 30 miles per hour, it looks like." And you mentioned, it's coming towards the Marianas, but specifically, it looks like it's going to go right through us.
Yeah, that's correct. And so we had beefed up our forecast yesterday to near tropical storm force intensity winds. We're going to bump those up just a little bit further later this morning to tropical storm force. So that's a difference of about 5 to 10 mile per hour wind speed. So it's not much of a difference in expectations for weather, winds, and season surf. It's just a slight bump up to meet these conditions based on the continued development of tropical depression 20W. So currently it's projected, the models have come into better alignment, showing the low-level circulation, which I believe is right about here in this burst of new convection. I believe that is the low-level circulation. Once we get to more daytime behind us, we can get some visible satellite imagery. We can have a better feel for the low level at the surface, what this thing is circulating, where is that low-level circulation. That is key to this system. We're currently expecting it with the Joint Typhoon Warning Center to pass near or over Guam tonight. The thing to keep in mind is a very asymmetric system. So the stronger winds exist across the northern semicircle of this low-level circulation, with the lighter, weaker winds to the south. So if 20W does pass through the Rota Channel today, the stronger winds will be up to the north and much lighter winds to the south. We won't see much action, but we will have to go into posturing because of its proximity to us, because that low-level storm environment as this thing evolves. So if it passes north, the weaker winds will be to the south, but you'll still see some winds and showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. So it's not going to be something you want to write off. This is something that you do want to be prepared for. Take precautions, plan for loose items, tents, tardies, tents, canopies, and tarps to be secured or taken down. This is the time to do it if you didn't do it yesterday, because the thing will be coming through the islands.
And of course, you know, the concern as always is, and you just showed us that shot outside where you said there's that little, you know, mini ponding basin right next to those lovely coconut trees that filled up in like 15 minutes. And the concern is always for our friends and our family down south and everything in the areas where it tends to flood. That could get pretty nasty pretty quickly, right?
That's correct. And these things will evolve rapidly. Currently, we do have a flash flood watch. We issued that yesterday evening, as well as a rip current statement for a high risk of rip currents along east-facing reefs and beaches, and a small craft advisory for hazardous seas and surf and winds over the open waters. So we're going to see those conditions continue if the rainfall does fill in over our area, which is very likely later today. We could upgrade that to a flash flood warning. And of course, we always appreciate the phone calls, the messages on our social media, because we want to know what's happening in your area. We can look out the window, but we can't have eyes on the ground in Marito, for example. So any messages, comments on our Facebook page, we very much welcome that, because we want to know what's happening in your area for impacts and any kind of problem. So do talk to us, because social media is key. Communications is key with the system, and it's been a very complex system. And this is what I was hitting on yesterday in the heavy weather briefs. This is not going to be our traditional timeline of a watch at 48 hours and a warning at 24 hours, because this thing is developing right on our doorstep. So we were very much expecting the likelihood of a very compressed timeline. So do stay in touch with our webpage, weather.gov/GUM, for the latest as we update our information. Our next public advisory will be going out at 8 o'clock this morning, and there will be some changes to posturing for the islands of the Mariana Islands this morning in that 8 o'clock advisory. So stay tuned, be prepared, and things can develop rapidly. Those heavy showers, this torrential rainfall, locally heavy rain. We're looking at 2 to 4 inches, but locally higher amounts for some areas, depending on where that convection sets up with the islands. Again, it's a very asymmetric wind field. That is the key to this system. Those stronger winds exist across the northern half of this low-level circulation, but as this thing evolves, we're going to start seeing stronger winds wrap around the immediate low-level circulation. So don't write this one off, but this is not something that you really want to be overly stressed out and worried about. This is something that we plan for, we prepare for, and we expect this living in the tropics.
There you go. Well, and you know, we can tell by your tone of voice, Landon, because, you know, you bring so much positivity and so much energy to the show under normal conditions and everything like that. So, you know, guys watching right now, if Landon's taking this seriously, that means you need to do too. So you were talking yesterday, Landon, some of the preparation materials, obviously loose objects outside the house, in the yard. You know, if you've got a tarp or a tent set up and everything, and there you've got that shot of the projection again going like right through us and everything like that. Is there anything else people should do, you know, outside of the normal, you know, the tent, the extended house and everything like, you know, getting ready for, you know, like an outside cookout or something? How should they prepare?
Yeah, definitely don't plan any outdoor activities today. Yeah. Like I said, this is not going to be like a constant steady state showers, thunderstorms, and strong winds. It's going to be coming in peaks and lows. So you have your convection core, you have showers and thunderstorms will pass over. And then like right now, we're going to be kind of in a lull of weather. So the winds will die down. But when those showers come over, that can bring in this much stronger wind gust that's 1,000, 2,000 feet above the surface, bring those stronger winds rapidly down to the surface. So you have to be ready for that. Keep an eye to the sky, especially to the east and northeast, as the thing does continue to approach us, that you take shelter accordingly, that you're not caught off guard outside. I would not recommend hiking today. Creeks and streams will fill up rapidly. As you saw, our drainage pond, that filled up pretty quick in about a 10-minute period. So the rainfall will come down pretty heavily. We've had incipient rainfall yesterday and today, so the soils are fairly saturated. So any rainfall that comes down in a heavy rate will become standing water and rapidly moving currents of water in streets, streams, rivers, and valleys. Right. So do keep that in mind. A flash flood watch is in effect, and that could be upgraded to a warning at any time over the next 24 hours. So yeah. I'll write this one off. This one will be coming. It's going to be passing over or very near Guam tonight. So just be prepared.
And now the question on everybody's mind before I let you go, because I've not spoken to you since you had your weather briefing yesterday, but the question was posed, with situations being what they are, has there been any indication that the governor and or the military might consider upgrading the condition of readiness and everything? You were saying last night, because of the situation, the governor was briefed, and she felt at the time, this is civil defense saying it, that she didn't feel any need to do that. But seeing how things have evolved a little bit, has there been any change with those discussions?
Yeah, to my knowledge, there's no change, but I have been talking to the Homeland Security Office, both Guam and CNMI this morning. So we're going to be doing some briefings coming up in the next hour or so. So stand by, keep your ears open, but maintain your own personal level of preparedness and precautions. This is where we take that self-responsibility and accountability to be prepared for ourselves. But stay up to date. That's the key thing. Stay up to date, because information will be coming rapidly and frequently, as is the case with tropical systems. And again, this is a compressed timeline, so this is not something you want to just relax and check back in on 12 hours later, because things will evolve. Things are moving through, and we are maintaining our near tropical storm force conditions in our forecasts. We bumped things up yesterday to meet these expected conditions, and we'll probably beef them up just a little bit more to match the tropical storm force conditions expected. Again, this is not a typhoon. We're looking at a tropical storm passing through the islands tonight, but not a severe tropical storm, not a typhoon.
Landon,
and I think we just had a small earthquake here. So if you felt that little jolt, it was just a small one.
not like we need anything else to worry about.
I know. Landon, you talked at the beginning. You talked a little bit about the changing the posture of your watches and warnings. Is that what you mean by coming a little more frequently with the info?
That's correct. So once we issue a watch or warning for any of the islands, the frequency of information is going to dramatically increase. So we've already beefed up staffing here yesterday evening. So we have all hands on deck. Coming at 8 o'clock, we're going to get things rolling. So watch our social media, watch our webpage, weather.gov/GOM. Click on those pink banners. That's where you're going to see the most information, the most up-to-date. So our social media is not always the most up-to-date information, but this is where you want to find everything that's routinely updated as we transmit it. So flash flood watch, rip current statement, small craft advisory, any of the pink and green colors, and the pink banners down here. This is where we're going to have the updated information. Click on the latest for Tropical Depression 20W, click that link, and you'll be finding our text bulletins and our graphics in this box. So this will be updated routinely. Our public advisories every 3 hours and our graphics every 6 hours. So this is where the information is going to be flowing, and then subsequently to our social media page.
And I am throwing all of your links in our comments right now, just so everybody knows. Here's all the URLs that Landon was talking about, so you guys can bookmark those. We do, they're a really good source of how we plan out our day here when we bring you on and everything. So we appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Landon.
Absolutely. Thank you both.
Okay, we'll see you. And obviously, keep following the stations at KUAM and our social media networks, and right here on the link to get the latest information.
Well, Chris Cave said there. He said he in fact felt a earthquake too, and he's down in PD at the port.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you feel that? I didn't feel anything.
I felt something.
Did you shift in your seat a little bit?
I felt a little, but I don't know, because I haven't had my empanada this morning, so could have been a stomach growl. I don't know.
Did you feel anything? Oh, Joseph said he.
No, we're not supposed to feel anything, Jay. We're supposed to get used to it. We're going to take a quick break, and let's go check out Customs. We got the head of Customs, Ike Pareto, coming up here on the link next. It's Thursday, September 23rd. The show is proudly brought to you by Cabo Enterprises, IT&E, Pacific Points, and Jack in the Box. Good morning.
See what's on TV tonight with schedules, network news and notes, local promotions and giveaways on KUAM Communications social media pages. Like and follow us on Facebook or Instagram now for all the latest and never miss out.
Get yourself all caught up with the week's games, scores, and highlights with the KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup on KUAM News Weekend Edition. It's all-inclusive, all the fun and all the action wrapped up in the perfect presentation. Relive the moments on the KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup, brought to you by Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV8 or from CBS on KUAM TV11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentation, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, Bud Light Seltzer, and Docomo Pacific, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications.
If I was to tell you just how much I need you, would you come tonight? Or would you not believe me, cause I'm not that easy, never turns out right. I'm trying to change your rules, you deserve something good in your life. We waited for far too long, so come get your blessings tonight, baby. Won't you come over, love, so I can show you love. I promise I've got enough to give you all that you need, baby. So many search to find love that's as good as mine. I don't wanna waste your time, so bring it on to me, baby. Baby, let me teach you, give you love instruction, show you what to know. Need to take it easy, no need to rush, no, baby, nice and slow. All this love I can give to
Hey, good morning. 742 testing site at TGen. I just got off the phone with Janelle Carrera, Public Health, and they are currently swabbing right now. But they are monitoring the weather situation. If the rain and the winds get worse, then they will postpone or cancel. Of course, the TGen testing starts at 8, but they're already swabbing. As you know, people usually show up early and line up for that.
Yeah, and Civil Defense actually did just send a WhatsApp to all of us in the media, and they said there is going to be a heavy weather briefing with the latest at 12 o'clock today, so we're going to carry that on our Facebook page as well.
Thank you. Right on. 7:43, it is Thursday, September 23rd. There was an earthquake. Well, according to Landon and our comments, Sula Marie de Jesus, here in Aston, we had an earthquake this morning, and then, of course, Chris Cave down at the port. Customs Chief Ike Pareto now in the KUAM News Zoom room. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing there? Good morning. Good morning, morning. Chief, let's just go ahead and start with this surge. We're like week 8 of it. How has it impacted or affected the operations of Guam Customs? Have you had any staff infections or had to quarantine any officers?
Well, actually, we're doing good up here at the agency. Christian, thank you for that information. As of last week, we had 2 of our employees that tested positive, but other than that, everybody's back. I don't have anybody on isolation right now, and I'm hoping that trend will stay within the next few weeks. So we're doing good.
Oh, that's good to hear, Chief. Can we talk on the seizures? I know whenever we get you on, we like to find out exactly how much drugs you took in from the bad guys.
Well, let me say that for this calendar year, we've been seeing an increase in the seizure of methamphetamine. Again, as what we reported last year when we closed the calendar year for 2020, we did report that a total of 110 pounds of meth was seized at the borders. To date, between January to present, we have already recorded over 130 pounds of meth that was seized at the borders. And I would say again, 90% of the seizures are coming from the post office. And other than that, I'm thankful for the support of my drug detector dog team. They've been working real hard in trying to make sure that we prevent and deter the importation of meth into our island. Let me just say that just for this particular year, the drug detector dog unit recorded approximately 66 hits for methamphetamine and roughly about 41 hits for marijuana that are coming in. Although marijuana is legal from a medical standpoint here in Guam, we're seeing that marijuana shipments are still coming in through the postal system, and we're working on that. So I want to thank my drug detector unit and my K9 team for their outstanding support in this matter, and they've been working real hard to ensure that we prevent this illicit drugs from coming in.
Chief, what type of marijuana are they trying to ship into the island? Is it just straight up the cannabis buds, or are we seeing different products?
Well, it's mostly cannabis that are coming into the mail, and the question that we ask is that why would they continue to ship in marijuana? And they're saying that it's cheaper to ship in marijuana rather than to grow it. So I guess that's the reason why we're seeing the increase in seizures at the post office of marijuana shipments.
They should just learn how to grow the good one here. It's legal.
That's true.
There was a release out of the port, Chief, where the board had praised the general manager and the port for their, quote, commitment to customs. It was a release that came out yesterday out of the Port Authority of Guam. The port board in their monthly meeting heard from General Manager Roy Respicio as he discussed the recent memorandum of understanding signed by the port and Guam Customs and Quarantine regarding the new office space for Guam Customs at the port. There's a quote here. As the first line of defense for the island of Guam, Customs is tasked with protecting borders, securing ports of entry, and facilitating trade, commerce, and travel. We acknowledge the need to have Customs personnel physically present at the seaport of entry to minimize the opportunity for compromised security, increased contraband smuggling, and unwanted tampering of containers and cargoes. And then there's a whole, it's a couple pages, and they just basically talk about all the great things they've done to support Customs, including granting you guys an all-access pass to go wherever is necessary to carry out your mandates. You didn't already have an all-access pass?
Well, actually, if you recall, we had some challenges in the past where customs was restricted. But let me assure you that since this administration came in, they have given us the alternative to move wherever we want within the waterfront. And I thank the port manager. He's been very, very resourceful to us. He's an individual that is very concerned with what we're doing down there, our objective, and making sure that we understand and we work together in moving commerce to the port. We've also had a lot of support from his team down there to include providing us a bigger office space to accommodate the needs of our officers. And I'm thankful for that. So the general manager has been very supportive to our needs, and I thank him for his continued support in this matter. And I look forward to continue working with him.
Chief, it sounds like they're really, giving you guys the tools you need to do the job. So let's talk about the job. How much the drugs have you guys found down at the port now that you have this great partnership with them?
Well, we're still trying our best. We're looking at all our opportunities down at the port. Like our K9 team has been present down at the port on a weekly basis, and hopefully that we will continue that. We continue to review our manifests. We have a special team that have created the Customs Special Enforcement Team for Maritime to also assist the line officers down at the port in reviewing all the cargo shipments that are coming in, reviewing the port arrivals, and working with the port security insofar as maintaining accountability of all the goods that are being moved from the port out into the community. So we're trying our best, and hopefully that we will succeed.
Right. So how much drugs did you guys seize down at the port?
To date, I can tell you that we haven't seized any drugs at the port, other than just Mayor. We had an alert down at the port last week with one of our detector dogs, and we came across paraphernalia on some of these vehicles that were being imported, especially privately owned vehicles. So that's where we're at with drugs at the port.
What kind of paraphernalia?
Methamphetamines, pipes that were found inside vehicles.
Like, are
Other
they?
than that, that's not the only thing.
Chiefs, are you talking about they're smuggling in like brand new crack pipes in these vehicles, or are you talking about someone smoked ice and they left it in the vehicle?
Yes, probably somebody smoked ice, left it in their vehicles, and then shipped that vehicles to Guam.
Wow. So I know we had you on last year, and I mean, everybody says that it's the ports of entry, right? And so you are getting some of the drugs coming in through the post office, but it's just amazing to me that you guys haven't had any seizures down at the port. Like, do you honestly believe that that means that there are no drugs coming in, or are they just smarter than you guys?
No, I'm not going to say that. We're still trying. I'm working with the other law enforcement agencies, to include my federal counterparts, in trying to identify some of the leads that we can move on down at the port. And so far, we haven't had none.
Can you go back to the post office seizures? Can you walk us through, sir, when you guys, like, let's say you get a package, you have the drug detector dog, he smells the package, oh, that smells like the chronic, and you guys open it up and you find stuff in it. What happens after that in terms of the prosecution, who gets involved, what do you guys do with the stash and all that?
Well, what happens is that when our canine dogs screen the mail and alert on a particular parcel, then the task force officers and the postal inspectors that are assigned at the post office will request for a warrant, and that particular alert is turned over to the postal inspector, and then from there they work it through. And of course, there's a lot of follow-up investigation. And let me just say this, that a lot of this seizures that we're making at the post office are non-mediable. And so that's why you won't hear anything about it, because it takes a lot of follow-through and follow-up investigation.
Right, yeah. Usually, sir, how long do you think some of these follow-up investigations can run?
That all depends. It can run up to 2 years. And you see a lot of these cases that are coming out of the courts. If they mention something about the post office, then that's part of those arrests that were made during that particular time.
Is there any like award that we can win since we have like the cleanest port? I mean, are there like awards like that where all the ports in the world are like, hey, we haven't had any drugs found here in like X amount of days? Maybe that's more of a port question.
No, that's a legal question, and I think I can answer that, because that once that thing is turned over to the judicial system, then they run the process.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so it sounds like you guys are working hard. I know that you wanted to get more canine dogs, right, Chief? And we talked last time. There were some issues with bringing them in because of the flight restrictions or whatever. Have we made any progress on that?
Well, the last time I talked to you about that is that there was a moratorium on the transportation of working dogs.
Yeah.
And up to this point in time, we're still working with the carriers to assist us in trying to acquire the 4 detector dogs that we're looking forward in purchasing. And hopefully we've communicated with United Airlines insofar as when they can lift the ban on moving working dogs, and at this point in time, there's no update on that. But hopefully, I'm looking at in the near future that we can move on with that, because we need the 4 additional dogs.
4 additional. So how many do you have now?
We have 5.
5. And so in a perfect world, 9 is exactly what you need to really do the job done?
Well, I'm looking at 12 at least. 12.
What about new officers, sir? Did you guys graduate some? I thought I saw something on that.
Well, actually, what happened is that there were 3 officers that did not graduate with the 11th cycle. So what happened is that the 3 officers, upon recruitment, received orders, military orders for deployment, and that process almost a year because the three officers were deployed and their training was delayed. And then what happened is that when they got back from deployment in the early 2020, COVID-19 was on us. So again, further delays on that. Remember, we had a shutdown, so the officers had to prolong the training dates. And finally, when we opened up, we managed to put them through the Criminal Justice Academy to include our technical training within the organization. And finally, they've completed the training that's mandated by law. And we graduated the two. We still have one more that is still on deployment. And hopefully that we can graduate that officer sometimes in April next year.
Are you having the same difficulty in retaining your officers that the other law enforcement agencies in the government of Guam are having?
Yes, that's true. Just like the police department, and it's sad to say that just within the last week or so, I have to sign 3 resignations. 3 of my officers are leaving. One is leaving to the and is going to the Attorney General as an investigator. The other 2 are K9 handlers. Sad thing about it, but we just lost 2 K9 handlers. Very, very supportive individuals for our mission, but they opted to accept a job with the U.S. Customs Service, U.S. Customs Border Patrol. And so yes, we have that challenges within our agency in losing our officers. And just yesterday, I was listening to the chief of police who mentioned that even the police department too are also losing officers through this particular time. And what can we say? We can't compete with the federal government from my standpoint, because that's where a lot of my officers are heading to. Of course, we invest on a lot of these officers, put them to the academy, and that's all they need. Within 5 years, they can acquire all the experience that's needed to move on to CBP and get higher pay. So, and the challenge with that is we need to work out something within law enforcement to increase the pay of these officers so that we can retain them.
Wow, sir, so you lost 2 K9 handlers. How many K9 handlers did you have?
Right now I have 5 K9 handlers.
So you had 7, now you only have 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And is that a major impediment to the operations? Because it sounds like the drug detector dogs, it's a big part of why you're able to bust so many bad guys.
Well, we just have to tailor our operation and make sure that we utilize whatever resources that we have. But we will continue to manage with the 5 until we can acquire the additional handlers for this particular operation. And
right.
Yes, I am looking forward in recruitment. I've met with the governor and requested that I would like to see at least 30 officers for the next fiscal year.
Wow. Are you guys getting any American Rescue Plan funding, sir?
Well, I haven't had a confirmation on that. I don't know the amount that we're getting, but hopefully soon. And I look forward to that.
Right. And then just going back to the port, you guys had, there was an incident last week, an inspection where you found drug paraphernalia in privately owned vehicles being shipped into the island. Was it just one crack pipe, sir, or was it
yes,
a few?
That's just one.
Okay. And then before we let you go, on a good note, can you recap the seizure numbers from Guam Customs at the post office again?
Okay, to date, we have seized approximately over 130 pounds of meth.
And sorry, sir, this is for calendar year 2021?
This is for calendar year 2021.
Okay, start over.
And we have 3 more months left
to
end the.
Okay, so calendar year 2021, what have you guys seized from the post office?
131 pounds of meth, over 131 pounds, and approximately 161 pounds of marijuana.
Any other drugs, pills?
No, that's about the only thing that I can say right now.
Well, good job. Thank you, Guam
Thank you.
Customs, for getting 100.
Thank you for having me on board.
Thank you, Chief. All right.
Thanks.
We'll see you. Always good to see you.
Bye.
Esta. Okay. Hey, it's 8 o'clock. Wow. Where'd the time go? It's a very eventful morning. We got more on the weather. Plus, we're going live out to the Infusion Center in Manila with our very own Tomas Maglotnia. All that's coming up, as well as Mary Rhodes from the Guam Hotel Restaurant Association. And we're also getting in this morning other people who are going to come on and talk about things on this show. It's 8:01. Let's go over to KUAM TV, shall we? You guys ready? Let's do it. Good morning, Guam, and good morning, KUAM TV. Miss the link, miss a lot. Do not miss it. We're here. It's 8:01. My name is Chris.
I'm Jason. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Sabrina.
All right. 8:01 again, brought to you by Pacific Points, Cavo Enterprises, IT&E, and Jack in the Box. Let's go ahead and get into the news now, shall we? On this very gray, wet Catagan Lagos tropical depression Thursday morning. With the very latest from the KUAM News Team, Serena Salas-Mantanani. Good morning.
Half a day, everybody. According to the latest advisory issued minutes ago by the National Weather Service, a tropical storm watch is now in effect for Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. This means that tropical storm conditions, including sustained winds of 39 to 74 miles per hour, are possible through Friday morning. Tropical depression 20W is moving west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds have increased to 35 miles per hour. It is expected to intensify through Saturday morning, becoming a tropical storm tonight. Additionally, the following advisories are in effect for the Marianas: a flash flood watch, a high risk of rip currents, and a small craft advisory. A heavy weather briefing with the NWS is scheduled for 12 noon. KUAM, of course, will stream the briefing live on our Facebook page. The island records its 182nd COVID-19 related fatality. According to the Joint Information Center, it was a 76-year-old unvaccinated man with multiple underlying health conditions who tested positive on September 5th. He died at the Guam Regional Medical City on the 21st. The JIC also reports 72 people are now hospitalized for COVID. 12 patients are receiving ICU level of care. 8 are on vents. Out of the 72 hospitalizations, 46 unvaxxed. The vaccination status of 3 unknown and 23 vaccinated. Public Health reports 138 new cases of COVID from only 1,426 tests performed on the 21st. 54 cases identified through contact tracing. To date, there have been a total of 13,997 officially reported cases, 182 deaths, 2,989 cases are in active isolation, and there have been 10,826 recoveries. The CAR score dropping to 30.1. To date, a total of 117,044, or 85.8% of Guam's eligible population, is fully vaccinated. This includes 9,978 residents between the age of 12 to 17 and 107,066 fully vaccinated adults. One woman hoping she'll be all right after a mix-up led to her getting 2 shots of 2 different vaccines.
With a return to face-to-face education, her elderly mother staying with her, and the governor's vaccine mandate in play, GovGuam employee Jolene Napati finally decided to get her first vaccine shot on August 12th. She says it was the beginning of a major mix-up.
They made a mistake. My first dose, they gave me Moderna, but stated Pfizer. Now, when I did take my second dose, was over at UG. Those people there just based off what my card had said or what has shown. So they gave me Pfizer. So in reality, they gave me 2 vaccines, which I was unaware of.
Napati said she was called by the National Guard shortly after her second shot. They explained the mistake, apologized, told her she should be okay, but to contact her doctor. So she did. She went to her doctor And her doctor said,
I should be fine according to CDC guidelines, and he was just looking up online. And I told him I could have done that myself.
Napati got her second shot at UOG on September 10th, 10 days after. She tells KUAM she experienced headaches, but she says she hasn't had any other adverse effects.
I'm hoping nothing is gonna happen, you know. I just hope that it is safe.
Meanwhile, the National Guard confirms Napati's doses were crossed, and they say it isn't the first time it's happened.
We are tracking twice that it has happened. Unfortunately, due to some human error, where it may be annotated on the dose card incorrectly, and it happens, unfortunately.
But is it safe? And is Napati now considered fully vaccinated?
Now, according to the CDC, if the people get cross-dosed, like in a case like this where it was by accident, it's still considered dose complete. So there were no adverse side effects. We stayed in touch with these patients and made sure nothing bad happened.
Napati hopes her story makes people pay attention in case vaccinators aren't.
Be sure that you're getting the right one because, like I mentioned, they messed up on mine.
With all the stress getting vaxxed has caused Napati, we asked her if she regrets getting the shots.
In a way, yes, but then again, we just all want to be safe.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
And with more news, here's Nestor Lecanto.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Hafide and good morning, everyone. Here's more of your headlines on the link. GMH continues to be at the center of the island's attention, and senators held a roundtable hearing on the hospital that covered everything from COVID-19 to capital improvement projects. Daniel Perez reports.
Guam Memorial Hospital Assistant Administrator of Administrative Services Don Rabanal compared the highs and lows of COVID with senators yesterday.
The low points of COVID, as far as GMH is concerned, were really July and March, where we were averaging about 7 and 9 respectively. Unfortunately, the current COVID surge that we have now started in August, that grew from an average of 12 to about 41 daily.
Rabanal told senators GMH is at maximum capacity and has stretched the staff thin.
The maximum hospital beds that we have at the hospital is about 161 beds, so we're really surging beyond our current capacity now. So if you notice, especially in surgical ward, we are actually exceeding our maximum staff capacity. It's the same thing with SNF. Care 2 and Care 3, we're actually flexing our staff. The nursing administrators are flexing their staff to actually cover the requirement of care for our patients as they come.
Associate Administrator of Clinical Services Dr. Jolene Uggan said staff shortages have also affected GMH's ability to administer COVID infusion treatments.
We have to always have a bed available for a patient that really needs to be seen and admitted to the hospital. So if a patient comes and is discharged and we do not actually have staff to do the transfusion, they are usually referred to the transfusion clinic at GRMC.
GMHA received 300 doses of the RegenCov this week. They kept only 50 and gave the rest to help GMH with their infusion clinic. GMHA also reported that they received $26.5 million in federal grants. Daniel Perez reporting for Guam's News Network.
The Guam Department of Education and Taniguchi Ruth Makio Architects provided a progress report to the community Tuesday evening regarding the design for the new Simon Sanchez High School. KUAM's Isaiah Uggan reports.
The Guam Department of Education leadership team, the Simon Sanchez High School administrative team, the Simon Sanchez High School Planning Committee, and partners from Taniguchi Ruth updated the public Tuesday on the progress of the design for the new Simon Sanchez High School facility at the community meeting held on Facebook. According to Michael Makio of Taniguchi Ruth Makio Architects, the school design is 30% complete. He shared the goals and planning factors for the Simon Sanchez project.
In addition to the priority of community feedback, we have a set of really specific criteria that we're applying to the design. Principal Ms. Nayan touched on these. These include campus safety and well-being. So we want to make sure we provide an environment with resilience and the enhancements needed to help the high school mitigate challenges like the current pandemic, and to make sure that there's an environment that's safe from both man-made and natural disasters. Additionally, we want to provide a campus that allows the high school to the existing high school to stay in operation while we're building the new campus.
The construction for the new school could begin by next summer. According to Makio, the first phase may be completed by summer of 2024. The locations and types of buildings have been decided, which means they now have to decide how the buildings would look. As of last night, the learning institution will have a large central courtyard, cafeteria, gymnasium, library, and 94 classrooms. While the COVID-19 pandemic has put the lives of many across the globe to a halt, it didn't stop the home of the Sharks from putting what they wanted to see in a new facility in 25 pages of paper. SSHS Principal Carla Masayan highlighted the hard work of the design team during the pandemic.
They have been effortlessly participating in almost all of the meetings that we've had with TRMA, and they have provided a lot of valuable information. So when it came down to talking about specialized classes, our DCs came in and shared their concepts about what an ideal classroom would be for their program.
According to GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez, the school will be purchased on a lease-to-own basis. He adds that the department will issue a request for proposal for contractors interested in constructing the new school and financing it once the design is 90% complete. In October of last year, GDOE announced TRMA as the primary designer, administrative consultant, and owner representative for the Guam Department of Education. Since then, TRMA has taken the lead to gather information and work closely with the planning committee to develop a design for a new SSHS that meets the core needs, vision, and mission of the school and its stakeholders. Reporting for Guam's News Network, Guahusi Isaiah Ugan.
The Superior Court has extended a competency hearing for 27-year-old murder defendant John Richard Bass III. Bass is accused of killing 39-year-old Virginia Laguana back in June in a Hotel Mayana room in Tamuning. GPD also reported that a 19-year-old female victim was transported to Guam Regional Medical City for treatment and care. He was on the run for almost 24 hours before authorities picked him up in Jigo. Defense counsel Heather Zona has requested Bass's medical records from Pennsylvania. An extension of 45 days was granted due to the rise in COVID cases at the Department of Corrections. And some ratepayers may have noticed an extra insurance charge on their monthly power bills. It's because in January, GPA borrowed $10 million from its own self-insurance fund to hold down rates. But the utility began recovering that money through a surcharge, starting with the August billing statement. For the average residential bill of 1,000 kilowatts per month, it will add about $2.90. GPA says the recovery will be spread out over the next 2.5 years, ending in March 2024. The power company says this will fully restore its self-insurance fund back to the $20 million level. And Premiere Week continues tonight with the much anticipated return of Survivor. After 20 years, the Emmy Award-winning series launches a new chapter featuring 18 new castaways and some fresh new twists. Here's a preview of the 41st season.
Survivor is back!
We're back, and the excitement and the enthusiasm and the energy is really big.
I'm here!
This cast is a great group of people. Lots of different stories from different walks of life.
I grew up in Sri Lanka in a tiny village with no running water, no electricity.
As a neurosurgeon, you are expected, even when you're tired, even when you're hungry, to still perform at the highest level possible.
My entire life, I've been having to outwork everyone else just to get a shot. And then when you get a shot, you have to maximize that opportunity.
There are a lot of changes in Survivor 41. First of all, 26 days. So that means it is a very fast pace.
Of course, Survivor is always 39 days, but even knowing that that is no longer on the table, like they're gonna throw anything at us.
And there will be some controversial twists. They will have no food, they get no rice, and they get only minimal supplies to start with.
I'll eat anything. I'll go eat a rat, I'll go eat a scorpion, I don't care.
There's also going to be penalties for losing. It's not enough that you lose the immunity challenge and have to go to tribal. You're also going to lose your flint until the next immunity challenge.
I want to not lose any challenges no matter where I am.
There will be new advantages.
Those idols are going to be mine. Advantages should be mine. You know what I'm saying? I think I got everything it takes to win.
We also have another new twist at Tribal Council called the Shot in the Dark. It's a Hail Mary. You only want to use this if you truly think you're in trouble because you're sacrificing your vote.
If you don't go for the gusto, as Wendell Holland would say,
you're going to get your torch snuffed.
There's also something I'm really excited about. It's called Game Within the Game.
Game Within the Game is an interactive experience for junior future Survivor players where they'll have to spot and solve rebus puzzles hidden within each episode.
Survivor 41 is a new era of Survivor.
It's a wild ride from the start to the finish.
So buckle up.
And don't miss the 2-hour season premiere of Survivor 41. That's at 8 p.m. tonight on CBS TV 11. And for all things fall premiere, including the schedule, make sure you go to KOAM.com. That's it for now. We'll see you tonight for KOAM News Primetime. Back to you, Bree.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
We are now heading live to Manguilao, where our Tomas Manglonia is standing by live at the Infusion Center. Good morning, Tomas.
Good morning, Chris and Bree. We're here at the Manguilao Senior Center just waiting for the island media to get access to learn more about the treatment that they're planning to roll in. Of course, this is just one of the options after post-exposure to COVID-19 that a lot of people have been looking for, and something that our Daniel Paris has been reporting on throughout the past few weeks, and something that we've also discussed on the Lincoln Link. And so we're still waiting. We're right outside here, braving a bit of the rain that everyone is talking about, and hoping to learn more today from Dr. Cruz himself. And so we'll be sure to give you that full tour and show you every bit of what we can capture here in Manguilao with this new treatment that everyone has been wanting to learn more about. Chris and Bree.
All right, Tomas. Yeah, the monoclonal antibody treatment that he's referring to is RegenCove. And so many of you have been watching our newscast, and of course here on the link, as Tomas mentioned, this treatment is something that the surgeon cell, the PAG, and the doctor have been talking about. And so today we are actually getting a tour inside the facility. Back to you, Tomas.
And we're getting a look right now. We're being brought into the building. He was just explaining all the precautions that are being taken place here. Obviously because of the pandemic, and just a few of us are getting a look at this.
Looks like they still got the Christmas decorations up in there.
Do you mind explaining what we're looking at right now?
Yeah, so we've just entered, and this is going to be the changing room for our staff who comes here and administers the monoclonal antibody treatment. Here we have some of our task force medical personnel in the guard getting ready with their PPE. So we'll be having gloves, face masks, shields, and then a gown to make sure that there's no contamination with our known positives that will be coming in. We move out into the next room, which is to your right. You'll see the main room where the treatment actually happens at the finish line.
So Chris and Bree, they were just mentioning how this next room that we're about to enter is where they will administer the actual treatment. And the room that we just saw was the room that their staff will use to put on the PPE and prepare to administer the treatment, which again, as Mark Scott was explaining, happens right here in this room.
Right. So what we're looking at here is going to be an observation area after the treatment is administered. And on this side here, as you can see, we're still setting up, but here we have our bays where the monoclonal antibody treatment will be administered. There's Dr. hard at work, of course, as always. I don't think they have the second. So my understanding, everybody that's
so Chris and Bree, that's the waiting room and the treatment room right here.
One of the most important things to know is that people can't just kind of come here and line up if they want the treatment. It has to happen through a referral process from the provider. Right. So whether it's through your doctor and you test positive and your doctor refers you, or you go to the TZN testing site and you test positive and you're deemed high risk by the provider there, which is Doc Cruz, then they'll make a referral for you to come here. Okay. Right. So some of those conditions include being positive, being symptomatic, being over a certain age, being unvaccinated. Those things all increase the risk of severe infection, which is what this monoclonal antibody treatment is meant to protect against. How long is the treatment? So the treatment that we're doing here is called subcutaneous, which in other words just means a shot. It's not an IV that takes a little longer. So there's 2 ways to administer this, the IV and the subcutaneous. This will be subcutaneous, which is just 3 injections. It should only take a few minutes. But after the few minutes of the injections is about an hour-long observation period, just to make sure there's no adverse side effects.
And
go home. And then, yes, they'll receive some aftercare treatment instructions, which I haven't seen yet. But yeah, so being a known positive, of course you want to protect yourself and your family. Now, if you don't have a safe place at home to isolate, then you can contact public health by calling 311 option 2 and saying, I don't feel comfortable that my home has a safe place for me to isolate. Maybe I have a shared bathroom. Maybe there's just not enough space. Then public health can make arrangements for the isolation facility.
And what about those who are vaccinated, test positive, and have comorbidities? They cannot avail of this treatment?
So it's not that vaccinated people can't avail of the treatment. It's really up to the provider to make the referral. So if you get tested with your provider, talk to that provider, get their recommendation. If they refer you to this clinic, then they'll refer you. Right? So the decision is really on your provider to decide if you're at high risk and should come to this treatment.
We heard from some DPHSS officials that this is not an alternative to getting vaccinated. So after this treatment, do we recommend that they get vaccinated?
So there is a window of time. This treatment is not for people who, say, for example, are currently fighting like coronavirus to the point where they're on oxygen, right? There are also some other limitations with the vaccine that I'm going to have Dr. Cruz talk about. But you're right, it is absolutely not a substitute for the vaccine itself. It's something totally different. Whereas the vaccine helps your body create antibodies on its own, the monoclonal antibody treatment infuses you with antibodies that were already pre-made, right? Which starts attacking the virus sooner than it would take for your body to make your own antibodies from the vaccine. Yes. But he'll be here in just a moment. You know, he's a hardworking guy.
All right, Chris and Bree, we're still on. We just wanted to bring you from the start here. So they explained how this is the area where you enter. This area right here, again, we're at the Manila Senior Center. This is observation and waiting area, and then not too far from that is where the actual administering of the treatment happens. And as we just heard from Mark himself, saying that it's all basically up to the provider again to make that call. And being prioritized right now, of course, are those who may be unvaccinated. And we're gonna get more details on that just in a bit as we wait for Dr. Cruz to re-enter the room. He was here and he just left, so we're waiting for his official statements. Chris and Bree.
Just for our viewers and listeners, again, Tomas Manglotnia is live at the Infusion Center, which has been set up in the Manguilao Senior Center, and we're waiting for them to officially open this facility for COVID positives that meet certain criteria and are referred by a physician, either a private doctor or referred by a physician at the Tizen testing center at the old Carnival grounds. And so, again, you have to meet certain criteria for this monoclonal antibody treatment, REGEN-COV. You have to be 65 or older, weigh at least 80 pounds or more. You have to be told by your doctor that you're high risk of a serious case of COVID, age 12 or older, and weigh at least 80 pounds or more. And you have to have any of the following: chronic kidney disease, heart or lung disease, BMI of 25 or greater, pregnancy, diabetes, immunosuppressive disease. This REGEN-COV treatment, it is US FDA emergency use authorized. Again, it is anticipated to open either today or tomorrow. There's a team from FEMA that is expected to arrive. Last we heard from Frank Manzel. He is the Region 9 FEMA Public Affairs Specialist. They're expected to arrive tomorrow. So I guess we can find out from Dr. Cruz whether, in fact, maybe they arrived early. Again, that is...
All right, I think we have Dr. Cruz here ready to speak to Island Media.
So the governor was saying that they're going to try to get at least 20 an hour. Is that what that's the goal?
Again, we're just waiting to hear from Dr. Luis
Yesterday
Cruz
morning, but so far the pace has been about 20
to get a briefing from him about the
15,
infusion
20
center.
If we can scale up to 24 hours, that would be great. Is that should we have the capability to do 20 an hour? We do. With our combined forces of GMA, GRMC, and now this clinic that's open. Okay. Yeah, it's more hands on there. Want me to stand behind you for support? Yeah, put my hand like a spirit guide. Okay. One moment.
Again, this is Dr. Luis Cruz.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Guam's first outpatient REGEN-COV treatment site. All right, this is in partnership with Public Health, with the Manila Mayor's Office, as well as the GARD and the UOG and GMH, GRMC Hospital. So we're here today to offer REGEN-COV as a treatment for mild to moderate COVID-19 symptoms. You have to, anybody that's coming through this door is COVID positive, and they have been referred either from the T10 testing site or from their primary care providers at one of the clinics or from the hospitals, right? So they're assessed at the ER, they qualify for this treatment, then the hospitals, the clinics, once the test is positive, and refer them here. All right, we do have a central appointment line, which the numbers will be made available, and they can, the provider, the emergency room, can call the appointment line, make sure that their patient has a slot, and then they show up here at their designated time. Okay, so this is the first day, so we can have we're starting small, maybe about 10 to 15 per hour, but we do have the capacity to scale up to about 20 patients per block, so there'll be a block of 2 hours. Okay, and it's all dependent on supply. Right now, we do have 250 doses. I think they used some already from Palau, so about 250 that is available at this time, and that we can give to the patients that are referred here. All right, so we do have, again, the monoclonal antibody treatments are laboratory-made proteins, laboratory-made antibodies that help your body fight off the COVID-19 virus. So when it's injected into your body, either subcutaneous or IV, the antibodies find the virus, neutralize the virus, and thereby killing it off. By decreasing your viral load in your body, patients get better quicker, and it prevents them from being hospitalized. This treatment is effective as up to 70%, preventing hospitalizations and deaths, all right? As well as also decreasing your symptoms by as much as 4 days, right? So this is an effective treatment that is available. It's been widely done in the southern states, and they have many monoclonal antibody treatment centers up in the states as well. I'll pause here for any questions. There's an age group, right, that you're looking for, but what about children that might be cancer patients? Will they be sent here as well?
No, so there is a 12 to 12 and above, or you have to weigh more than 88 pounds. That's the criteria that has been studied with this medication in the patient. So you have to be 12 years old and above and weighing more than 88 pounds. So if they're cancer patients, they're less than 88 pounds, unfortunately, we cannot give them the treatment. So it would be better actually to be at the hospital for those patients to be closely monitored.
Can you quickly walk us through how they would be sent here? They would, let's just say they go to the testing site, they test positive, and then what's the next step from there?
So we do have my counterpart, Dr. Bob Dunguero, and also the GARD support, where they are identifying those high-risk patients. If they are positive, they can talk to them about the monoclonal antibody treatment, specifically REGEN-COV, because that's the only one that can be given subcutaneous. And they're going to refer them here to the Manila site. So they would either call directly and say, okay, we're referring, a patient is coming now. If a slot is available now, we do have some slots available for walk-ins. So if they're needing treatment right away, we can accept that patient at the Mangilao site.
And this is really for people that don't need to be hospitalized at this point, because you will determine that when they show up and test positive.
Correct. So the testing site is also assessing them to see that they're not sort of looking really ill, that they need to go to the emergency room. But if they come here, we're going to assess them and make sure that they don't meet admission criteria. So making sure that their oxygen levels are still high, making sure that they meet the criteria and are eligible for this treatment. And we'll make that assessment. If they are needing oxygen, then they do not qualify for this treatment. If their oxygen levels are 94 or below, we will send them to the emergency room where they can get more appropriate treatment, and that's better handled at the hospital.
Dr. Cruz, just two questions. Just wanted to ask about, in this pandemic, everyone's worried about a shortage. We're seeing some states like Tennessee already grapple with this antibody treatment shortage.
Yes.
Can you speak to that, and if that's a legitimate concern here?
Okay, so yes, it is. Depending on the demand, people are getting this more if we're still going through that surge. And that, of course, the supply will be, always tenuous. But we have 250 doses now. We're expecting more this week, up to 400 doses. So hopefully those shipments come in and they're viable and they're not outside the temperature range. So we're trying to make sure that the shipments are coming in and that we're tracking them.
I just wanted to ask a question we asked Mark at the top here about a person who is vaccinated and has severe comorbidities. Would they be able to also get this treatment, or is it just for the unvaccinated at the moment?
No, so this is for people that are high risk of becoming hospitalized or getting severe disease, right? So whether you're unvaccinated or vaccinated and you fit those criteria and you are high risk, then you can get the treatment. Okay, so as we're seeing in the hospitals where half of them are vaccinated, right? We could have possibly prevented those vaccinated people from getting hospitalized, and as well as those unvaccinated people, right? So when we started identifying high-risk patients at the TZen site, we've already treated over 100 patients at the GRMC IV infusion center, right? So that's potentially 100 people that were prevented from being hospitalized or even dying.
And not sure if you touched on this, but DPHSS received the treatments of REGEN-COV yet?
Yes, they have, right? So we have 300 doses that came in on Monday morning. I know the hospitals have been giving some, so we have about 250. And again, this has been GMH, GRMC have been giving the monoclonal antibodies in their emergency room for their patients that show up that are qualified or that are eligible. Okay, so this is not, but what's different about this center is that this is more accessible because we're giving it in a different manner, which is subcutaneous, and that's more efficient. It is a faster process, but still very safe and still very effective, right? So we're giving them the treatment, the injections here in the rooms, in the stations, and then they're monitored in the waiting room for an hour, making sure that there is no reactions. Guam, the hospitals, the GRMC Infusion Center has given probably now over 200 of these doses to patients, and there hasn't been any significant allergic reactions.
Also, Dr. Cruz, is there currently a waiting list?
So we were able to get through that waiting list. There are some patients that did not answer or are still undecided. We will continue to call those patients and see how they're doing. And if they're not improving, to make sure that they come in and get the treatment. Again, this is for mild to moderate symptoms. The earlier you get the treatment, the better, to prevent you from being hospitalized. Don't wait until your symptoms are getting worse, where it's going to be too late and you're not eligible for the treatment and you need hospitalization. So that's why we're encouraging everybody as we have the supply now. We want to prevent more dead on arrivals. We want to make sure that everyone has access to this treatment
And please go to the testing site, see your primary care doctor to get referred here to the treatment center if you are having COVID symptoms and you are COVID positive.
Dr. Cruz, we're probably expecting, obviously, people with COVID who are positive, might be older folks, be feeling under the weather. Any tips about, precautions they could take? Should they have someone to drive them here, anything like that? When they come down, are they going to be experiencing any symptoms afterwards, things like that?
Right, so if one family member is allowed to accompany the patient, just understanding that family member knows that this is a COVID positive facility, right? If that family member, if they're in close contact, they're possibly COVID positive or getting over that illness. And, just as long as they understand the risk of coming into this facility, we'll make sure that there's proper PPE available to them. But, people have gotten the treatment, felt better, and able to drive home on their own. There haven't been any really serious reactions. And I'm following up with these patients from the IV infusion center. They feel a lot better that night or even the next day. I mean, some of them have said the next day they feel 80% better and they're ready to go back to their usual activities of exercising and swimming. I said, hold on, make sure that you're fully recovered and make sure that you still are required to do your isolation period.
And I know there were a few facilities that were going to be standing up. I think we heard 3, then we heard 4. How soon are those going to be on board?
Well, I think it all depends on the demand, right? So and then the supply as well. So if we're seeing an increased demand, then we're going to be able to try and stand up more sites. We do have those sites identified, and the FEMA monoclonal antibody team will be here hopefully this weekend, and we can work with them to identify more sites if necessary.
Where are we expecting those to be at this time?
It's still in discussion, possibly opening up a Blue Med tent at the TGen testing site to treat those that are identified right then and there. We just need the electrical issues to be put in place. And then other sites down south with the other senior centers, I think Agate was identified as one of them, where we can open another treatment center up.
Hey guys, let's open up the clinic to the public in maybe 20 minutes. So 1 or 2 more questions, and then we'll let them start.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask here if FEMA's here yet, and if they're still helping, and also just because we're crunching on time, hours and day of operations and any more facilities.
Right, so I should answer the facility question. Okay. And then this will be open from Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And the FEMA team?
And the FEMA team is, I said earlier, they're coming. Hopefully they're coming this weekend. We're still tracking them, coming in either Friday or Saturday this week.
And then with the treatment, DHS says anybody that has COVID is 10 with no symptoms, right? With this treatment, are we still looking at 10 days isolation and then no symptoms, and then you're good to go?
So let me be clear on this. You still need to complete your isolation period, which is 10 to 14 days. All right, this helps you feel better faster and helps prevent you from being hospitalized or even dying. So it doesn't change anything else with the isolation period. So you still need to isolate for 10 to 14 days.
One last question, Dr. Cruz. There's only 3 beds here. Are you planning on setting up more?
Right. Again, the demand is there and we have enough supply. We will probably set up more sites to be open, right? This is safe right now with the 3 beds. And of course, if we need to expand, we can expand.
Hey, can I just get a photo off with you close to the bed?
I mean, do you want our staff with all PPE stuff and ready?
Whatever works.
I think that'll be the
best photo op.
Yeah. Over here, we have a Major Apro, Nurse Apro. And she's going to be waiting for them here. So this is how it's going to be right there. You're going to come in, get assessed, and then when they're ready for the injection, this can close them. And we'll be Friday. There's a photo op right there. Okay, ready? All right, and then it's going to be. Want to have a seat, everybody? Great. Yeah. Go ahead. You check their oxygen level.
97%, you're good to go. You can either sit on the chair or have a seat on the bed. And while we're preparing the patient, the drawing medic or nurse will draw the medication. And then once the patient is ready, we will go ahead and give the injection. It is 4 injections of 2.5 milliliters of the medication. And then once they're done, they can go ahead and exit. We have a post-observation form with information so they know what to do and how things are going to be for them after their medication is given. And then they'll sit with us for an hour in observation. If everything is well, they can go ahead and exit by themselves or with their family. Should they run into any problems, we have on-site emergency equipment, epinephrine pen, and other oxygen and other emergency needs while we call 911 to bring them to the hospital if needed. Again, we've identified that if a patient has an oxygen saturation of 94% or less, then we're going to go ahead and direct them to the emergency room. We will assess and see if we can increase that level based on just having some deep breaths and monitor them. But for sure, if we're not able to achieve that percentage, then we're going to go ahead and redirect them to the hospital for further care.
Can we just ask real quickly what your experience has been like on the front lines? We're hearing a lot about burnout. Can you share a little bit about your experience, maybe your message to the community during these hard times?
Okay, so my message to the community is I've been in all sides of this. I'm a nurse in the National Guard. I'm also a nurse at GMH. I'm a supervisor. Please get vaccinated. You know, I've worked in the vaccination clinic. I work alongside the staff who take care of the patients, the sickest patients in ICU, the telemetry level of care patients, all the patients that we oversee at GMH. And I've also worked at the monoclonal antibody clinic at GRMC. Please come out and get this treatment if you've already been identified as a positive patient. This is going to help you to prevent hospitalization. And if you're not vaccinated, please get vaccinated because it's the only way we're going to help our community get well. So thank you, Guam, and please let's get well together.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thanks. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to open it. And we're going to want to sanitize. Thanks all.
All right, Chris and Bree, of course, we're going to head out to have these frontliners do, their work, holding the line as our Daniel Paris has been reporting again. One last look at the observation area. And again, the area of treatment. And so we just got a first look at what this would look like here on Guam and the possibilities of it expanding in the future. As Dr. Cruz said, as demand rises. And we're here at the Manila Senior Center with Byron and Daniel Perez, and just wanted to bring this to you live as we hear more about this treatment. Chris and Bree, back to you there in the Link studio.
Thanks a lot. That was Tomas Manglonia live at the Infusion Center. I believe it is going to be opening today at 9 a.m. This is the location where they will be administering the monoclonal antibody treatment, the REGEN-COV. In order for you to receive it, you have to be referred by a doctor. This is for those with mild to moderate symptoms, according to Dr. Luis Cruz, who is giving the presentation. It is 70% effective to prevent hospitalizations. Again, this is for COVID positive patients. The infusion center will be open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They have about 250 doses of the REGEN-COV. They're expecting a shipment, I believe, later this week, and also a team from FEMA is expected to arrive either tomorrow or this weekend.
Thank you. We also just had this in from Public Health spokesperson Janela Carrera. COVID-19 testing this morning at TGen. Inclement weather is affecting the testing hours operation. Currently, they're operating on a weather permitting status, which means they're swabbing when there are breaks or lulls. So those waiting to be tested can expect a longer waiting time. The staff and client safety is their priority. And they, of course, appreciate everyone's cooperation and patience as they do their best to continue to test the community. You can also go to the Tier 2 clinics. They have roofs and they're indoors. Yeah, we're going to... Bree?
Yeah, before we go to Mary, we're going to do a recap of news in Chamorro.
Yes, let's do that. And it's brought to you by our friends at First Hawaiian Bank. Again, the Chamorro News with Ken Concepcion. Good news.
Buenos days to get some to the Chamorro in the KUAM News. Presentan ni Familian Mizo, the First Hawaiian Bank. Sa paro matutunin nuevo na sa kang physical gyoto semana, kulansada na si Speaker Teresa Rai sa Distipaugi magahaga, tiasasangan tamano pa magasta kabali sa Giselapi American Rescue Plan, at dumidi dia matungo ni legislatura, tamano magasta, at sa matungo sa Paraguay Guam Power Authority, dyan para Guam Memorial Hospital, o to siya nagasto sa tadat tabiat tumungo gi legislatura. Los de pago gobyerno siya sangan na 300 milyon pesos, gi 600 milyon pesos na lapi ARP sa para nuevo na hospital. Mas asunto, may extended the competency hearing para si Richard Bass III, 27 anos na edad, numatsaki na puno si Virginia Laguanya, 39 anos na edad Palawan, gi Hunyo na mes gi Hotel Mayana gi sa Tamuning. Iabagaw niya si Heather Zona sa may request para Zona Record Medico si Bass, gi ng Pennsylvania. May prebe extension sa puri COVID-19 na kausa siya gi Department of Corrections. Después si Bass sa puno sa Mercy si Laguanya malingon halom para kana 24 oras antes dumagatan ni polisiya gi Zadzigo sa maaresta. Masasunto gi ni Kotti at si matsakin na mamuno si Nicholas Wayne Moore sa Mayndight para otro na kausa. Sigo ni opisina ni General Abogao, matsaki si Moore ni otros kwenta na criminal sexual conduct sa pwedeng mapalizan ng menor edad no menos ki 16 anos na edad, gi December na mes gi 2016 na sakan, hasta Enero na mes gi 2017 na sakan. Kasi 18 anos edad niya si Moore guhitatin na tempo. Mas keso para ma-rain para dyan ay natsaki gi 10 Octubre. Mientras gi Julio na mes si Moore zanigatsong niya Troy Damian sa matsaki pun mapuno sa Michael Castro. Ni ma-report na malingo gi Octubre na mes gi mapos na sakan. Mainday gi otritado na kausa si Moore pagkiraran tadisan mamaki mientras manyunyugun ni masusedi gi Octubre na mes gi mapos na sakan gi sa Agani Heights. At pleadwe na guilty si Moore gi todo estidos na kausa. Yuto muna sunto gi finut sa moro gini ni KUAM News para pago na Webes, Guam Election Commission sa para matulay ka ofisyal niya, estagwati gi sa tamuning yuto man este na mes, después ka na 45 años ki GCIC building, giza agat niya. Asal ba este na tinilay ka kasi 27,000 pesos gisakan para apas at kilon. Inuebo na lugar niya sa G. Oka building gifyo ni Mega Drug Pharmacy gi Southern Fahrenheit Avenue. Mausa may opisina siyempre gi dia 27, este dia 29 gi September. Mababa do nuevo gi dia 30 gi September gi las 8 gi egan. Para Guam News Network, Gosikin Conception. Yasuto gi finut sa moro sa presenta sa ninafatto ni Familia Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With MoneyMap, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light, or when it's time to slow down, maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be. With MoneyMap from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
GU Self Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
This season, KUAM Communications is ready to go with more games, more championships, and more sports specials guaranteed to bring out the fan in you. Don't miss a minute of gameplay from NBC on KUAM TV8 or from CBS on KUAM TV11. We're bringing you all the action and excitement brought to you locally by Michelob Ultra, the superior light beer, Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, and Dokumu Pacific. KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time off each Friday to talk, taste, and tempt you with all the latest and greatest food and drinks on Guam. Old faves, new hits, and everything else we can put in our bellies. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link, brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Devondale.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage, with generations of Filipinos calling Guam home. KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Catch SportsLink on the KUAM News Morning Show, The Link, every Friday to hear about the latest in sports news, game schedules, athlete profiles, and more. SportsLink, brought to you each week by Cure Alkaline Water and Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, airs every Friday across the multimedia platforms of KUAM. Tune into the broadcast on Breeze 93.9 FM, on KUAM TV 11, live streaming through the KUAM News Facebook page, or view highlights on YouTube, KUAM News Facebook, and Instagram. SportsLink is hosted by Dave Delgado through KUAM Sports, and he will make sure that everyone knows what is happening on the fields, in the gyms, and everywhere in between.
KUAM Communications continues our perpetuation of our Chamorro culture, language, and heritage, with features available to our listening and viewing audience, including streaming of Chamorro music 24 hours per day on Isla Digital Radio on KUAM.com and the KUAM News app. Chamorro News Update, weekdays on The Link and the KUAM News YouTube channel. Conversations about life in our Chamorro language podcast, Cuentos Tapoco, with Kin Conception. Seasonal specials, shows, and other features highlighting the beauty of our language, culture, and history. It's a new era of our continued commitment to our Chamorro heritage. Isla, watch, listen, stream. Viva Isla!
Guam was once home to over 12 native species of forest birds, each with their own unique sound, color, and role to play in our ecosystem. However, the arrival of the brown tree snake has threatened their existence. Today, only 3 of these species still exist in the wild. But what was once lost can be restored. Join the Department of Agriculture's efforts to restore our ecosystem. It is only through partnerships with various organizations and the community that we can give our native birds a future. Support snake suppression.
Did you guys see Jason? Did KUAM TV see Jason Solis' haircut? Because the last time I saw them, he had that in his KFC TikTok video. His hair was looking like the Wizard of Oz lion.
Well, you know, I got to do what I got to do for the economy, you know.
Yeah. He boosted the barber economy yesterday. It's 8:53.
And hopefully the chicken sandwich economy.
Right. Happy birthday. Going out to Glenn Michael Tanatongo Barcinas, 30 years old. That's coming from Antiquina and the Tango Works family, and also everyone at DZSP. So happy birthday. It's 8:53, Thursday, September 23rd. Mary Rhodes from the Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association joins us now in the KUAM News Zoom room. Mary, I kind of just want to start with when you guys had come out with the other chambers and basically asked your members to kind of dial back to 50% occupancy. Whatever happened with that? Because we haven't seen any other, and I think at the time, maybe, I don't know, you guys were thinking that we would see some type of restrictions implemented to stem the transmission of the virus, which is, it's crazy spread now, week 8. But whatever became of that, did you guys have members who said, hey, yeah, good call, let's do that?
Well, it's really a two-part thing. GHRA was really asking for a lot of its members, just because of the social distancing mandates were put back into place with 6 feet. So that requires a lot of businesses to automatically reduce occupancy to about 25-50% reduction. And so when we came out, we just asked everybody to take extra measures. And so if that's to go reduce your occupancy, whether that's to 75, 50%, and we really went out asking the business community to consider those options because, in all of our meetings with the government to date, they still haven't reduced occupancy, but really the restrictions on the measures that have been put in place already reduces it.
Yeah.
So it's really just a matter of semantics, right? There are a lot more restrictions now with the new mandates, and so businesses have seen a reduction, whether it's direct or indirect consequences of those mandates. There have been reductions in sales, reductions in occupancy, and reductions in just number of people coming out, and also in employment. Because people are going to have to make adjustments, especially as the new mandate this coming Monday goes into play with the number of people who are unvaccinated but needs to weekly test.
Right.
And as you can see with inclement weather being as it is today and even yesterday, the testing sites had to adjust their hours or even considered closure because they're unable to test. So GHRA and AMC had their test site, their pilot one, our pilot one at the Hyatt yesterday. And we did see some overflow from the other site only because of the test site being closed. But I just really want to inform the public that the purpose of our testing site is really for the unvaccinated individuals who need to report to work and weekly test. So it's really set up to be a surveillance testing site, and we are not supposed to be receiving people who have come in close contact with individuals or people who are symptomatic. For those reasons, you should really go to a clinic or to public health test sites at the Community Health Center or TSN if you are symptomatic or come into close contact with individuals. Our weekly test site that we've been authorized with Public Health and AMC is really for surveillance testing for unvaccinated individuals who need to weekly test to show proof to their employers.
Mary, we do some shoots with some restaurants and just talking with some of the managers since the implementation of the purging of the unvaccinated mandates. They're saying that they have seen a business fall by as much as 40% in some cases. Well, one restaurant I talked to was 40, another was 30. And it's not necessarily because a large part of their customer base was unvaccinated. They're also seeing just vaccinated people who just don't want to bother, you know what I mean? So what kind of impact are you guys seeing in the restaurants?
Yeah, our numbers from our survey showed, averages of 30-40%, but as high as 85% reduction, which is a huge, huge consequence to the businesses. And a lot of it is due to the mandate, whether or not they're vaccinated or unvaccinated. It just creates such dissension out in the community that people are not wanting to really go out and support businesses. And so we've really tried to encourage everybody to come out and still continue to be safe. And the restaurants and the hotels, and you heard the governor and public health really directly say that there have been no transmissions specifically to the restaurants. And so it's really unfortunate that the restaurants have had to really feel this negative impact really in the last couple of weeks due to this. So we're really trying to educate the community, make sure everybody knows that we are practicing health and safety protocols. There have been 0 transmissions. It's really in congregate settings at gatherings. And so that's really where where it's out in the community, and it really isn't specific to the hospitality sector or to restaurants. And so it's very important that people understand that. And it's really challenging to balance the health and safety, right, with the economy all at the same time, especially when people have their livelihoods, not just as employees, but also as employers. And so we did share with you earlier today, we have some free training available through the National Restaurant Association via ServSafe. And there are some new free training programs and webinars that they rolled out on how to deal with these mask mandates, but also vaccination mandates, because it does impact your entire environment down to the mental wellness of your employees on how to address these situations. And so those free trainings are available. Jason's going to put it out on your site.
Yeah.
And so we're encouraging all of our businesses to avail of those free training programs through ServSafe.
Mary, you know, when you talk about the economy, right, it kind of seems like we're in a lose-lose now because the governor put in place these mandates that target the unvaccinated people, but when you look at the numbers, they're clearly not working. And then it's also given the economy a huge hit. So I don't know what's working here.
Yeah, that's why, initially GHRA really came out strongly saying, if you're going to allow the schools open, you should allow the restaurants and all the other businesses to allow and practice their health and safety protocols, because the Delta variant is really out in the community itself. And it's important that everybody, make their choices, if they're going to be vaccinated, if they're not, that they go out and get their exemptions and they weekly test if they have to go to work. But no matter what, you still have to continue to just, wear the mask and socially distance and wash your hands. It's really about the basics, knowing that this is out in our community, but the businesses should be allowed to operate and continue to maintain their operations with health and safety protocols in place, since it is a community spread. And so as much as we're seeing the schools open, all the businesses should be allowed to operate as well, as long as they're maintaining those protocols, especially now that numbers are as high as over 85% for vaccinations. And we're continuing to have vaccine clinics. AMC is having a vaccine clinic at 2 hotels next week, Monday and Friday. We will have another weekly testing for employees who have to test before they go to work. And so I think that's going to be extremely important as we continue to see the mandate take effect this Friday for the government and next week, Monday, for private sector. We even had not just public health, but also another agency, an autonomous agency, come down and look at our protocols with AMC and GHRA because they want to emulate that. And so they need to be able to put all those systems in place if they're going to prepare for the mandate that's going into effect, not just for local government, but think about what President Biden put out, in the next couple of weeks. Their protocols will go in place with regards to all companies 100 plus over, as well as anyone with a federal contract will have to be fully vaccinated, and testing won't be allowed.
Mary, let me just get in real quick. Guys, it's 9 o'clock, and I just want to make this announcement on behalf of the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. For immediate release, above step recruitment for Psychiatric Social Service Administrator for the Children Adolescent Services Division. GBHWC is requesting for the recruitment of Psychiatric Social Service Administrator position for the Children Adolescent Services Division at pay grade R, step 08, in the amount of $84,632 due to recruitment difficulty and exceptional qualifications. GBWC is pursuing the processing of this GG1 to recruit Mr. James P. Cooper, nurse, in accordance with the hiring of a Psychiatric Social Service Administrator provided in 4 Guam Code annotated public officers and employees, Chapter 6, Compensation of Public Employees, subsection 6205, recruitment above step. The above step request is based on his education, professional experience, and qualifications. GBWC has had a difficult time filling the Psychiatric Social Service Administrator position due to the lack of qualified applicants. Signed, Director Therese Areola. And thank you for that. Mary, this training you're talking about, is this basically like...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, oh, good.
No. I'm just wondering what that was, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's an ad.
Oh.
Mary, is this like a Karen training you're doing, basically?
Not just for customers who are complaining about it, right? It's also really for employees. So if employees are there are quite a number of employees. From our survey, we saw, even sometimes upwards of 60% of the employees remain unvaccinated. And the fact that they're not able to work except for weekly testing, there are a lot of concerns that people have with regards to being mandated. And remember, GHRA was not for mandating any of this across the board. So the fact that it is taking place, GHRA's role in the community is to provide information, resources, tools for the employers, as well as the employees. And so as much as we're not for the mandates, we still have to provide a service to our members and the community. And so that's why we're providing these free training sessions that's available through ServSafe. And these are national programs, and they are free. So, and it's not just for, although it's designed for restaurants in handling complaints by customers, but also for employees and how to prepare them to deal with mask mandates and vaccinated versus unvaccinated individuals. So it's really across the board. And so there are a number of courses that are available out there.
Have you been able to get your eyes on the training?
Yeah, I looked at a few of them. I registered for 2 already. And so because, I want to learn from it as well. Another training that we are signed up for, both Daniela and I at GHRA, is we're also participating in public health program that we're going to get certified in the ID Now machine, since we have the ID Now machines at our site. Even though AMC has the CLIA waiver, since GHRA received the public health CLIA waiver as well, we want to make sure that we're fully trained in it. So it's really about just making sure we're accountable and responsible throughout this entire time and period. And, this isn't necessarily what GHRA does, but we've had to adjust this last 18 months, almost 2 years. And as we continue to deal with more issues and more restrictions, I think it's going to bring up a much larger issue is, how long will people continue to deal with this? And I know it's bringing up the emotional, mental health issues, but think about the businesses themselves who continue to be shuttered. And so GHRA is working with some stakeholders on that with GDB and the Chamber of Commerce and JGTA and KGTA, because we have to really look at when the federal dollars really end, it's not just PUA ending, right? It's the extension of PPP and EIDL, but also where's the rest of the funding for the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, and how much more can we ask of the CARES Act and the rescue plan dollars that hasn't been spent? Because right now the plan with the government is to spend a lot of it within the government. So although GITA just launched that $27 million grant, can we do more? Because as we continue to see restrictions and businesses limited in their operations, then we need to be able to provide them, more funding and more support, because their hands are tied. And so they are essentially being closed down for reasons that are beyond their control. And so the government needs to answer for that and then also provide the support. Just like the test mandates, GHRA and AMC, although we are helping to augment and complement their testing sites, we need to look at more testing sites open in areas where we're not dealing with inclement weather. How can we safely do this where we're not adding more pressures to the clinics, the tier 2 clinics, as well as the hospital, right? So it takes partnerships and community outreach. And really that's GHRA's role here in ensuring that we are working with public health, and our partner is AMC, but how can we continue to provide more services to our businesses, employees, and community as a whole?
Well, what did you hear, Mary, about the Restaurant Revitalization Fund or any
TARP? What about the TARP resolution?
Yeah, the TARP, we have a meeting today at 11 as well as tomorrow. We are identifying certain funds that maybe we can hopefully redirect. And we hope that we can get, audience with the governor, but as well as, not just the executive branch, but as well as the legislative branch. I know that Congressman Nicholas has also given support and has reached out regarding both the RRF and the Shuttered Venue Operations grant that was recently awarded with SBA. But we really have to collectively put our heads together, because Guam has not been able to get a larger percentage of those funds, right? They were given a certain percentage. And so since the federal dollars are already here and they haven't all been spent, maybe we can get some of those redirected to the businesses that pay GRT, or maybe we can consider reducing GRT again, the BPT, or give them some kind of an extension like what we did last year, where 90 days, although it was only 90 days deferred, we would like to see a longer deferment or even a waiver of fees. One of the things we've talked about is, what about all those employees who haven't worked and need to get back into work? Can they get a 1-year extension on all their health certificates, their ABC licenses, things they didn't use but they fully paid for a year? So we need to start having those conversations with the government, because there are a lot of things that are still being held on the shelf and not really activated. And with the number of people who are currently unemployed and the number of businesses who can't operate fully, there are a lot of costs associated with employment and costs associated with operating on Guam. And if those government agencies aren't open or allowing them to operate or to be employable, then we need to have those conversations. Is it right to continue charging them those fees for the next year? Can we waive those fees knowing that, the government is whole because they've received the federal funding? What about the businesses and the employees who have to continue to pay the same rate for less productivity, right? So we have to right size it, I think. And so we haven't had those conversations, and I'm really looking forward to working with our industry stakeholders with regards to TARP and other things that other people might have. But we really are looking at a comprehensive set of, strategy and solutions with the executive branch, legislative branch, congressmen, as well as any other federal funding we can look after.
Right.
And that's something that really GDB and GHRA should collectively go after for the tourism industry. But I know that the Guam Chamber of Commerce has wanted to initiate or has already engaged with the group, with the stakeholders, and there are a lot of agents that have really been shuttered throughout this last year and a half, right? And so although we have military spending going on, and that is really the only mainstay this last year and a half, it's been good to help maintain operations, but really tourism is a two-year timeline in how we can approach that. And it's going to be very challenging for a lot of people, if not already.
Mary, have you participated in any sort of conversations about what are we going to do about Airbnb now that the White House, the president just announced this week about this new policy that he plans on implementing in November, requiring that foreign travelers, in order to come to the United States, you have to be vaccinated?
Well, I think it's a good plan, actually, because the whole point of Airbnb was introducing a program that could slowly reintroduce tourism back to Guam. It wasn't supposed to be the silver bullet for tourism at all. It was to only allow ourselves some time for re-entry into Guam. And so and that was also to allow the countries where they couldn't get vaccinated fast enough. But with Japan and Korea really moving quickly with their vaccines, and Taipei, Taiwan has really been cooperating with Guam on this. We had our first Jeju flight from Korea. It really was only a re-entry into Guam and giving people options, especially the expats, U.S. citizens, and then some of the tourists that have been able to get their vaccines. But once those countries start hitting their goals for vaccinations, then it is only right that we move towards receiving tourists who are fully vaccinated, because it only helps everybody around the world, right, from a global strategy with tourism. That's the only way that we're going to be sustainable. And so it's a good strategy going forward, but we still need to have a plan in place like Airbnb for those who still cannot get vaccinated or prefer to come to a destination that is safe and secure and still has all the protocols in place to ensure that they're not, integrating with the rest of the community until they're fully inoculated.
Okay. All right, Mary. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And again, I'll share the link to our vaccine clinics as well as our test site again next week. It's really important everybody reach out. If you are interested in attending the Public Health to become an employer-sponsored site, that training is Tuesday with Public Health from 3 to 5, but you have to submit all your paperwork in order to become an employer sponsor with Public Health. And so I'll provide all that information to Jason so he can upload it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mary.
Okay,
Stay
thanks
safe.
everybody.
Thanks, Mary.
Stay safe.
Thank you, Mary.
Bye.
Bye. Tomorrow, right? 9/24. That's the day that
Yep.
the governor's executive order goes into full effect.
And then what happens?
What did she say? Disciplinary action or
Yeah, so government employees, if, the option is,
for GovCon employees?
so for GovCon employees, you have to either be fully vaccinated or submit to the weekly test, right? Or have an exemption. But have we been able to nail down the thing with the exemptions?
No, we've been trying to get
Yeah.
Chima.
That's the other thing, guys. I've reached out to the director every day this week, Director Arts and Augustine Public Health, and they're usually really good about getting the public health people on because we are in a public health emergency. So I've been asking for Chima all week, but Chima has been working on the Department of Education testing plan, and so he had messaged me the other day that they're really trying to get this obviously out before the start of school on Monday. But we've been trying to get answers to a lot of different questions, and one of them is the exemption, because we've just been hearing so many different things about, first of all, are any exemptions even being granted? Last we heard it was at the Attorney General's office for review. You're supposed to be able to get either a religious or a medical exemption. We're also hearing that some people, and we haven't been able to confirm this, that some people may have been getting exemptions if they've already had the coronavirus. So we don't know, and we're trying to get the answers because that's going to be a big part of this whole thing come Monday, right? Is you should have the right, if you're a government employee or even a private sector employee, you should have the right to say, hey, it's against my religion, or you have some kind of medical condition. So yeah, that's that. It's 9:16. We're gonna, Jay, yeah, we're gonna come back with a Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center and Jason Salas. It's Thursday, September 23rd. We're gonna take a quick break though, and we'll be back with more of The Link next. Good morning.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line. KUAM Communications continues our perpetuation of our Chamorro culture, language, and heritage with features available to our listening and viewing audience, including streaming of Chamorro music 24 hours per day on Isla Digital Radio on KUAM.com and the KUAM News app. Chamorro News Update, weekdays on The Link and the KUAM News YouTube channel. Conversations about life in our Chamorro language podcast, Cuentos Tapaco, with Kin Conception. Seasonal specials, shows, and other features highlighting the beauty of our language, culture, and history. It's a new era of our continued commitment to our Chamorro heritage. Isla, watch, listen, stream. Viva Isla!
The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV 8 or from CBS on KUAM TV 11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentations, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, Bud Light Seltzer, and Docomo Pacific, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage, with generations of Filipinos calling Guam home. KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, where you get smart insights into your finances so you can make smart decisions with your money. With a daily personalized feed, you can compare your monthly income to spending. That's better. Discover where your money is actually going. You might be surprised. See what's essential and what isn't. The more you use the app, the smarter it gets. With insights from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Welcome back to The Link, everybody, on a Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us. And we have mentioned since the inception of this show that even though the coronavirus is a physical ailment and everybody's doing what we can to steer clear of it, or as we saw from Tomas Manglonia earlier, there is now treatment for that in various ways. You can find out much more on our YouTube channel, our website. The mental component of what we've all gone through as a global society over more than a year and a half is equally important, and in some ways even more long-lasting than the physical. And I'm glad I have two friends of mine that are experts in this field from the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, Dr. Christiana Whitman and Sarah Harrell. Ladies, it has been a very long time, and when you guys are here, you know, it always gives me a sense of peace.
Oh, thank you. Good morning.
we were talking about self-care during the break. Interviewing wonderful people like you is my self-care, because you give me a self of reassurance that, you know, that we are working together to get through this and everything. So, and that's kind of the point, right? Because there is a Focus on Life virtual conference that you guys have coming. Was that next Thursday, Doc?
Yeah, so it's Thursday and Friday, and I'm going to kind of correct the title. So it's the Go Peace Conference, and it is an initiative out of the Peace, or the Prevention and Training Office, through Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. Both Sarah and I have grant funding that we're utilizing to bring our projects together to host this conference. Yeah, so we're really excited about it. It's next Thursday and Friday, and there are still spots open to register.
Yeah, we're going to bring the poster up so everybody can see that. But Sarah, there are a wide variety of topics. In fact, I would say like this is going to affect probably everybody to some degree, because just looking at the poster, it says holistic wellness is one of them, grief recovery, which, you know, invariably everybody is going to go through, self-care, as we just mentioned. But also interesting is the impact of data.
Mm-hmm. So the conference is really designed for people who does prevention work. And I know people might think, oh, I don't really do prevention. But in actuality, all of us who work with youth, who work with adults and making sure that they're healthy, both physically and even emotionally and mentally, we're all prevention practitioners. So if you see yourself helping people out, especially during the past 18 months of the pandemic, and you've been of service to somebody else, you are a prevention practitioner, and this is for you. So the workshops that we've developed has actually like a 3-step theme or process. It's listen, connect, prevent. So what we want people to get out of the conference is not just to listen and learn from people or like experts, but also to feel like they're listened to, or that they're validated, their experiences are validated, because they're hearing from people who they can relate from, like their experiences are similar to theirs. So we want to feel like people can listen to others, but also feel like they're being listened to. We also want the conference to be a platform to be able to connect to people who are not necessarily like-minded or in the same field, but people who have the same passion in life, which is helping others out. I think like in social services or in the field of prevention, that's one common denominator among us. Like we're all helpers. We all want to care. We have a huge care tank that we just want to keep giving. And then the last is really prevent, like really finding the reason why they're in the field of prevention, why they're doing prevention work. And not necessarily just, like tools of what they can do when they go back to their companies or organizations, but also like, how can I prevent my own mental wellness to go on disarray? Or how can I take care of myself? How can I practice positive self-care and healthy self-care so that I can keep giving and caring for others?
Mm-hmm. And Christiana, you said something very, very profound. I remember the last time we had you on is you were saying what we've probably all come to realize even indirectly throughout the pandemic is that, communication really truly is a two-way street. And if you really want to get good, and as Sarah said, like really help somebody and help yourself, you have to both listen and talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for remembering that, because I don't remember that. It's a reminder that,
It was really good. I stored that up here because it was good.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. So it is a two-way street, and that's really what we're hoping that this platform provides to stakeholders, prevention professionals, and people in the community, just this space to listen and to connect and to talk with each other and amongst each other about maybe some of the challenges they've had in the last 18 months or in their careers, but also some of the strengths. We've seen so many strengths come out of people in our community over the last 18 months. And I talk a lot about the pandemic silver linings because that's what brings me joy. And one of them is this emphasis on self-care and wellness and mental health. And I think if we use it as a platform to, kind of destigmatize getting mental health services and promote and capitalize on self-care and overall holistic wellness, I think that's going to be really good for our community overall. So that's kind of where we're going with this conference. It's not going to be your typical, providers who are at this conference giving presentations, although there are providers. But we do have, an array of services. Like we said, we look at data every day, especially, we're looking at these COVID numbers and, as we also want to know how can we make the data speak, positively for us and for the people we're trying to reach. So Dr. David is going to be doing a workshop about that. We have some people in the community who've actually started a mental health podcast, which has been a great source of support to many people in the community who just want kind of a sounding board of people who have lived experience. And they've been able to invite different people across the island to be in their platform. And then we have, in the afternoons where I think Sarah and I are most excited about this, and our team is most excited about these workshops in the afternoon that are really focused on resetting and recharging. So we brought together nutrition experts, yoga masters, I don't know who else did we have, Sarah? Brief recovery. So just different spaces to really communicate this message that prevention and mental health is really so multifaceted and dynamic.
And I really appreciate a term you used there like a few moments ago where you said like silver linings. And, in both of your professional opinion, like as, as advisors, as clinicians, what have you, how much of like actually telling, a friend, a member of your church, maybe a family member and everything like that, giving them like those little incremental things to look forward to, or say, it is going to get better, things will eventually calm down. We just have to keep working and everything like that. How has that been managed? Because I'm looking at it because, I tried to major in advertising and everything, and you always want to shoot for a goal, right? But when it comes to, the mental health aspect about saying, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, or, all these cliches and everything like that. How do you balance that maybe even within the family unit?
Sarah, I'll start off and you can add to it if there's something. But I was going to say, I constantly or consistently try to tell myself, since we're talking about myself, but also my clients or people I serve or even students I do teach also. But there's going to be a period, we need to be realistic. There's going to be a period of yuckiness, right? Of discomfort, of uncertainty, and that's kind of, for a lot of people, that's where we are still, and it's been kind of long. And, we can admit that. At the same time, though, it's only that period of discomfort that's going to bring you to the space where you're comfortable again, and then where you're able to kind of look back at the last period of time and say, wow, I was resilient enough to get through this, right? And everyone, we were talking prior to this, right, prior to actually being on air about self-care, and everyone has different methods or mechanisms for getting to achieving or obtaining self-care. For some, that's professional counseling, professional therapy. It could be medication. For others, it might be just, reflecting, spending time with family.
It's tacos for me.
Yes, exactly. Tacos,
Yeah.
Taking a walk, getting fresh air, or, a combination of everything. And I think, again, I guess one of the things we want to kind of just bring home is that, mental health prevention are, there's no real, there are evidence-based and clinical practices. And we, of course, I'm a provider. I believe in it truly, but, that type of help seeking isn't always for everybody, right? And so we do want to kind of share that there are other approaches to achieving wellness and taking care of yourself. And I don't know if Sarah wants to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely agree. Like everybody is in some sort of healing process, and integral to that healing process is the social support. No man is an island. We always need the cushion of our family, our friends, people that we work with who we know understands where we're coming from, is willing to listen to us. When we talk about like mental health, sometimes like the connotation or like the misconception is that it's people seeking help from counselors or from clinicians, but really everybody has mental health, and all of us, like about 92% of any community, do some sort of way to manage their mental health, and it's not necessarily going to counselors or seeking clinical help or services, although there's nothing wrong with that. But majority of us really just depend on having some, like vent sessions with our friends, or having some coffee break time during the afternoons with our coworkers, or having a retreat like this conference with people that we share the same work with. So everything that we do has an impact on our mental health, and we have to be more conscious about that.
Mm-hmm. Now, even though this is a virtual conference, ladies, before I let you go, I'm assuming it's going to be standing room only, even though it's virtual. But is registration required?
Yes, registration is required, but there still is availability as of right now. I'm not sure what the recent count was, but it is a virtual conference. We are trying to be as interactive as possible. So we're trying to mitigate some of the technical challenges by actually having our presenters be present in a room and to share, to live stream from there, so that so that's hopefully is going to give the feel to the participants from their homes or from their workplaces, a sense that the conference is actually still like happening in real time and in real life. But safely. So unfortunately, we were really trying to do a hybrid conference, and it didn't work out. But we're happy to still do something and be here for our community. I'm not sure, Sarah, if I know we gave you the flyer, Jason.
Yeah, we got the poster up right now. So everybody, if you can't read it on your screen, you can register at tinyurl.com/gopeace GOPEACE01. tinyurl.com/gopeace01. And this is something that affects everybody, and because it's virtual, and free to the public as well.
Free, yes.
Free,
Yeah.
that's a key element.
Yeah, if I may just add, I know that
Yes,
it's
please.
on a Thursday and Friday, so some people might be working. So if live participation during the conference is not an option for you all, all of the workshops will be recorded, and it will be available as podcasts on our website, gbhwc.guam.gov. That way, anyone and everyone can take advantage of the amazing presentations and speeches that we will be offering at the conference.
Excellent. Well, once you guys are done, we'll share that too, so we can make sure that we share the knowledge, because that's what it's all about.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies, thank you for what you're doing for our community. This is a very, very necessary service, and it is our sincere hope that everybody takes advantage of it, because it's a wonderful thing to do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks
All
for
right.
having us.
All right, best of luck. We'll see you soon. We will see you on the flip side of this break. Please.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down, because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, in our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line. The KUAM Podcast Network is back and on demand, featuring a great variety of podcasts from our island and region, including culture, lifestyle, awareness, crime, politics, commentary, comedy, and entertainment. Available on most streaming platforms. The KUAM Podcast Network. Subscribe and listen now.
KUAM TV has been on the air for 65 years. 65 years of growing, changing, and adapting to the needs of our local community. 65 years of making you smile, laugh, and cheer, and being there for you in times of tears and heartbreak, and learning to heal together. We've kept you on the edge of your seats, been a trusted source for you to turn to, weathered many storms together, and celebrated life's big moments. And now at 65, we celebrate all the firsts we brought you over the years, and all the firsts that lie ahead as our world changes. KUAM TV, celebrating 65 years of firsts on Guam.
Breeze 93.9 FM.
This for the Our Islands, Our Sacred campaign. All our islands. From the Pacific to Turtle Island. Shout outs to Nine for teaching me this simple piece of wisdom. And big ups to the Creator for making life. Home tastes like pugwa and fresh pit papulu. Elect iprimuhu, kahulu za ikulu. Just like the signer, living in the nunu, husumaga gi itanu, tisinya upanudzu.
Welcome back to The Link, everybody. We are talking about a topic that I know we've shared a couple times on KUAM.com already over the last week or so, and it's generated quite the natural response. We are talking about betel nut. And of course, throughout generations of Guam, it's been a cultural, traditional practice to
Jay, I'm sorry. Can we just do this whole thing over?
Sure.
Okay, hold on. Let me just make sure we got the... Do we have that? Yeah. Okay. Welcome back to The Link. It's 9:35. Sorry, I just had to play Pugwa for this interview.
No, very, very apropos. This added a whole new dimension to this interview.
My bad. It was my whole plan all along, but I was a little distracted back here. I was trying to make sure we do this right.
We go for accuracy here on the show.
Right on. All you, Jay.
All right, and with those scintillating sounds, bringing back memories of pugwa, maybe your uncles, your grandparents chewing pugwa, certainly a tradition of our culture here on Guam, but it's been noted in maybe the past couple of decades or so, maybe some of the side effects of pugwa and some of the things that they may be harming our community. So Dr. Rachel Leon Guerrero is a friend of ours here on the show. I have not seen her in some time, so Doctor, always good to see you.
Thank you, Jason. It's good to see you. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time since we've seen a lot of people.
Do I say that you are the academic who is overseeing this study of trying to see how betel nut affects our people?
So let me start by saying I'm not the expert on betel nut by far, but I'm the principal investigator of our National Cancer Institute project that oversees several of the betel nut projects. So I'm kind of speaking on behalf of some of the investigators who weren't able to show up today. Sure. But the person who really, here at UOG, I would say the folks who are really the betel nut experts would be like Dr. Yvette Paulino, Dr. Ana Joy Mendez. They're the ones who are really in the trenches doing a lot of the hands-on research in betel nut.
And these are learned, very, very passionate, very concerned experts of our community, not just academically, but also as Guamanians, who you will probably be able to interact maybe directly if you volunteer for this study. So, Doc, we've been mentioning it a little bit, like I said, over the last week or so about there are volunteers being needed for this betel nut study. But what are some of the parameters and exactly what kind of information and background are you looking for to maybe get a better handle and profile on what betel nut may be doing to our.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, sure, Jason. So we're looking for, we're just doing a really small study right now, and we're looking for 125 people. Actually, 25 people who don't chew betel nut, because we want like a baseline of, just to know what their chemistry is for non-chewers. And then we're looking for 50 what we call class 1 chewers. And these are folks who only chew the betel nut and nothing else. They don't have the rest of the quid, with the lime and the leaf and the tobacco and everything else that's added.
No papaya.
Yeah. And then we're looking for a few class 2 chewers. And those are the chewers who, they like the whole preparation with the betel nut and sometimes even with the husk and with the lime and the leaf and the tobacco. And, some even dip it and ferment it and soak it in alcohol. And, there's all kind of different recipes.
These are the pros. These are the one people
these
like
are
when
the
they sit,
hardcore,
yeah,
right?
They just don't break it open, during a card game and pop it. I mean, they take time to prepare their betel nut.
Correct. It's a science for them. So but we're mainly looking for the class 1 chewers, the people who just chew the nut. And, typically it's a lot of the chamorros that are really just, they like the nut in itself. So that's basically who we're looking for. And in order to be in the study, you just have to be over the age of 18. And so it's pretty simple. We ask people to come in for, it's not even maybe half an hour. We do a little cheek sample, get some cheek cells, and use a toothbrush, and then we get a hair sample, and then we have them fill out a really short survey that takes maybe 5 minutes, and that's it. So to be in the study it's really easy. And maybe the reason why we're doing this is the researchers are trying to develop a new way to detect the alkaloids in betel nut. So they've pretty much figured out that they can do a cheek sample and look at the alkaloids that are present in betel nut and find it in the cheek cells. But they want to see if they can use hair, because hair is much less invasive, and see if they can detect it in hair samples. So that's basically what they're doing at this point.
Now, here's a really interesting question right now. Are you looking, Doc, for the type of people that chew the hard betel nut or the soft betel nut when it comes to, and we had that, that classic song, are we looking for the ugum or the tsanga?
That's a really good question. And I think we can take both, but
okay.
I think we can take both. But I think they are preferring the hard nut. But yeah, both. Just call. Just if you're interested, we'll take anybody.
Excellent. Okay. And you mentioned specifically, I noticed you mentioned like chamorros, but are you looking for maybe like when it comes to the population sample size, are you looking for kind of like a diverse mix of Micronesian ethnicities, or are we focusing specifically on chamorros?
Oh no, anybody who chews, it doesn't matter. Ethnicity does not matter. It's just that typically if you only chew the nut, especially the hard nut, that's typically mostly your chamorros, but we're happy to accept any ethnicity.
Okay. And although you said, you're looking for people 18 and over, are you more interested in certain generations or certain age demographics? Like, we prefer the older people, or does it, Gen Zs, millennials, Gen X?
It doesn't matter.
We'll take all comers if you have an interest in betel nut, or not, if you're in the control group.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. And what do you intend to do? I mean, obviously it's, the purpose of the research would be to determine some correlation between adverse health afflictions and the chewing of betel nut. But I mean, are you looking for any particular outcomes right now? Do you have a hypothesis that you're working with already?
Well, I think with this particular study, they're really just looking for a biomarker. But, in some of the past research studies that have been done, there is the hypothesis, and there is a lot of research that shows that betel nut is associated with causing oral cancer.
That's leukopenia, right?
Yeah.
Cancer of the mouth, yeah.
Right, cancer of the mouth. Now, I have to be full disclosure. You know, my dad chews betel nut, and he's been and we were just talking about it. I was visiting him last month, and he's been chewing betel nut since he was 8 years old.
Wow.
He's 93, and he's never had anything. So I don't, I don't want to say that it doesn't, but I don't know. It's associated, but if as far as the hard evidence that they know conclusively without a shadow of a doubt that if you chew betel nut alone that it'll lead to cancer, I don't know about that, but it is associated, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well, hence the purpose of the study. I mean, we're trying to determine like a actual correlation between
right. And I think. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think more research needs to be done to prove conclusively that the betel nut itself is causing cancer. But I think, when you're chewing the quid, which has the tobacco and the lime and the betel leaf, that I think there's more evidence that it's definitely carcinogenic, because we do know that we do know that tobacco is a carcinogen. And so I think that that's pretty solid evidence that the quid causes cancer and probably some other health effects.
Okay, and secondarily, are you also maybe trying to find, when you look at causation, maybe smokers that also chew versus people who smoke or do not smoke and then chew?
Yeah, for this research, I would say we're not looking at that, but I think that there's probably some evidence and a link that people who smoke are definitely increasing their chances. I mean, if you smoke, you're increasing your risk of not only lung cancer, but several different types of cancer.
Well, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it a theory, like maybe going back maybe like 20 or 30 years, that possibly chewing betel nut would contribute to Litigo Bodig?
No, that's the Fetang nut. There's another nut.
Okay, my mistake.
Doc, I wanted to ask though, because you're still making the call for hard betel nut chewers, I want to say that is that mostly just Chamorros that do that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the our Micronesian brothers and sisters, they're chewing more of the soft.
Right, but also Doc, a lot of Chamorros are also chewing the soft because the hard betel nut is harder to come by.
Yeah,
and that's because when people,
right.
It's so crazy because this is all drug related.
So it's a supply chain thing.
Well, because people would steal betel nut and then sell it, and how they would steal it is they would just cut down the trees of the hard betel nut, and so that's what. So that's very interesting. And how many more people do you need? How many have responded?
So right now we have 55 who have been recruited out of 125. So we still need about 70 people, and most of what we need is just the betel nut in itself, the class 1 chewers, not the ones that chew the quid.
And here's the most obvious follow-up question is how much more time do they have to contact you, and how can they do so if they would like to participate?
And then what's it entail for them to be involved with the study?
Oh, okay. So we are still recruiting. They still have at least 3 or 4 months. So they don't have to call today to. But once we finish recruiting, that's it. We're done. So
you're looking to start after the new year, maybe?
Oh no, we're recruiting.
Oh, okay. No, I mean for the actual to begin for the study.
Oh no, we've already been recruiting.
Okay,
so
I see.
Yeah, we're recruiting. Okay. And so if you want to participate, you can contact Jade Chanu, and her number is 747-1608, and I'll put it in the chat afterwards and with her email. And participation is on a first call basis, so as soon as you call, she'll call back. And again, if you are living on Guam, you're at least 18 years of age, and you chew betel nut, then you're eligible to be in the study. And there's no age limit except you have to be over the age of 18.
All right.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really, really interesting topic that I know always comes up. And, again, the purpose for the study is there's always been that big question mark, does chewing betel nut have some sort of negative effect and everything? And hopefully, with your research and everything like that, we'll be able to get a little bit of a better idea.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Wait, you got something?
Thank you. No. Thank you, Doc.
Thank
Appreciate
you, Doc.
it.
Always good to see you. Good luck.
Yeah.
We're going to take just a quick break and come back, and Jay's going to finish out the show. We do have a couple of interviews. We're going to talk with retired General Duran Cruz about a fun run they're doing on Cross Island Road, and then also from Rainbows for All Children, Marie Halloran here to talk about, it's virtual this year, the 17th annual LifeWorks Guam Out of the Darkness, our community walks. That's coming up right here on the link, so keep it where you got it. Good morning.
The world of television.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down, because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable, as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage, with generations of Filipinos calling Guam home. KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city, featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Got a question about your finances? You've come to the right place. Bring all your accounts together, even those that aren't with us, and see the big picture, right down to the smallest detail. Unlock powerful tools like Insights and Money Map that help you save time and take control of your finances. When you connect accounts with the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
Today, and welcome back to The Link, everybody. As we wind our way towards the 10 a.m. hour, we got two really, really good interviews, and we want you to get involved with, because there is a fun run being organized by someone who I'm sure in his many years of community service has done a bunch of runs, General Duran Cruz. General, good morning, sir. Very good to see you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Jason, Chris. Again, thanks for having.
All right. So when
put some information out on it.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
I got to tell you, I have not done. I have not done a interview about any sort of run. We used to do 5Ks on a weekly basis here, so this is a real treat for me. And whenever we talk about runs and everything, I say, what is the course?
Yeah. So the course is Cross Island, and most folks, especially on Guam, when you say Cross Island, they're thinking of that, from Toksa to Upper Heights. No, that's not the Cross Island route we're talking about. We're talking about a much shorter route, and that's a Pago Bay to Paseo, Statue of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Guam Running Club has partnered with us and jumped on board and volunteered their help and expertise to manage this run. And it's going to start at Pago Bay this Sunday at 4:30 a.m. is the show time, and go time is at 5 a.m. The Guam Running Club measured the route, and they have it at 8.5 kilometers, so nearly 5 miles.
Now I was going to say, General, like even though the course may be geographically shorter, there is no shortage of challenge, because if you're going from Pago Bay to Agana, that's not a flat course.
That's right. And Ray Gibson, I think a few days ago, was talking about some of the hills, especially the one from Chalampago, from Pago Bay up to
your calves and your quads are going to burn when you do that
intersection, and then you come on down from Orda down to Atta Funeral Home, and then back up the hill to Sinahanya. So that's not a I don't know how much fun, if you try running that, you're going to have. So, but that's the route. like you said, again, the Guam Running Club, with their expertise and experience, are going to join us and help set that up. There'll be a shuttle that runs from Paseo Loop at the parking lot there right behind Chamorro Village from 3:45 a.m. to 4:15 a.m. on Sunday morning. And they will be shuttling. You can park your car there, and 3 buses will shuttle folks to the start line at Pago Bay, and then you run and walk the route, and then end at the Paseo Statue of Liberty, however long that takes.
Yeah, and the point of this, and the fact that it's on Sunday the 26th, sir, is this is of course for Gold Star Family Day, which is a very, very important day for our island community. Yeah,
we've been working on this project for about 3 years now. We just hit, especially with COVID, affecting our planning process and trying to get anything done, quite frankly. So we just muscled through that, and here we are. So every penny we raise through the activities, through the donations and pledges, every penny goes to the Herschel Woody Williams Medal of Honor Foundation, which is managing the funds for the construction of a Gold Star Families Memorial Monument that'll be built at Skinner Plaza, right next to the Purple Heart Monument.
Outstanding. Very fittingly so, right next to the Purple Heart Monument. Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, this is kind of a blessing. Our original plan was to build this at the Aslan Warren Pacific Park, but of course, the government of Guam doesn't have any jurisdiction over that property, and the National Park Service does, and they kind of gave us the no, you can't do it final answer on it. So we just kept fighting through the process and the bureaucracy, and we were able to do a thanks to Senator Joseph Augustin and Senator Pito Talahi and all the senators that co-sponsored this bill. They were able to do a public hearing last week Tuesday, and I believe that bill is now at the governor's office for her review and approval. And what's a telling sign of whether this bill is a go or no go is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Is the scheduled site dedication for this monument at Skinner Plaza. Now, I just heard a few minutes ago that they may have pulled the plug on that ceremony due to weather, but more updates as we go along throughout the day.
Well, we're definitely going to make sure to cover that, because like I said, I mean, the value of the Gold Star families and being able to honor the families and the surviving members of service people that we have lost in the line of duty. I mean, that is of immeasurable impact to our community, and we thank them so much for making the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah. It's and as Woody Williams would say, as compassionate a nation as we are, we don't do enough for our families that are continue to endure and endure the pain and the grief of losing a loved one. And so this memorial monument is for them to come and reflect, to pray, to remember, right next to the Purple Heart Monument, which has the names of all the fallen, not only from Guam, but from the Federated States of Micronesia, Palau, Republic of Marshall Islands, and the CNMI. All the names of the fallen since World War II are inscribed in that Purple Heart Monument. And so it makes absolute great sense for us to build this family monument right next to the names of the fallen.
Yes, sir. And if you out there watching right now, if you would really like to contribute, you can participate in the Generals the Cross Island Liberty Run. Again, you can find you scan the QR code if you would like to register, and please get involved, because that's on Sunday the 26th. A really, really good event. You might want to bring some icy hot for your legs, because going from Pago Bay to Agana Bay, you're going to sleep good that night.
Yeah, you're going to wonder whether you made the right decision, but there should be no doubt about the cause and why we're doing this stuff. And it's just an administrative announcement. Logistically, there, Jason, this is unlike any of the 5Ks that we do on Guam, where you kind of you pay your $10 and you go pick up a bib at Hornet or wherever. All you simply do, as you talked about with the QR code, or you can get on the website, it says it right there above the QR code. You just pledge any amount, whether it be $1, a penny, whatever. You pledge any amount, and you show up at the start line, and we'll give you a bib. We're not going to set any speed records. There's not going to the Guinness Book of World Records folks are not going to be there to track your time.
Okay, never mind. We're not going then, General. We're not going. If Guinness is not going to be there, okay, we're not going to.
Chris was looking to run like the wind, General.
I was ready.
Yeah. I knew he was waiting for an excuse.
Especially if it was slippery.
On this,
I think General, once Chris makes it up the hill, everybody else is going to proceed to sit on it. Chris is going to like hang a right and then go hide out at FD.
I'm like the wide shade, so you don't run behind me.
Message or call me and say, "Where's the cooler?"
Right.
And I know, but then once you pledge, you can pick up a bib at the Assen Medina Mayor's office down in Assen between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. tomorrow. And if you are not able to make that window, you can just show up at the site at 4:30 on Sunday morning, and we'll make sure you get a bib.
All right, General, thank you so much for your time, and of course, as always, we thank you for your service, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for your support.
All right,
appreciate it.
We'll see you on Sunday. Outstanding event.
Right, 9:59.
Yeah, we got to wrap up our show right now, but let's get Marie Halloran.
No, we're going to jump over. We're going to say bye to KUAM TV. KUAM TV, as always, it's been a blast. You guys are looking awesome this morning. Stay home, wash your hands, wear your mask, wash your fafa while you're at it, okay? Limit your interactions, and know your status. Go out and get tested, okay? They're doing testing at Tejan. But it is weather permitting, so they're waiting. I guess they're doing it whenever there's a lull. They're going to go out and swab. So they're asking for your patience, as that's going to lead to increased delay times. Also, our good friend Dr. Ho Wen of American Medical Clinic says that they have sent out notice that AMC in Manilao is closed for sick visits and testing due to the acuity level. Patients will be diverted to other Tier 2 clinics in the emergency room for today. Dr. Hoa, it's not a good look at the clinic level. He says, Chris, we are getting slammed today. So again, AMC closes for sick visits and testing due to the acuity level of their patients. Patients being diverted to other Tier 2 and the emergency room at GMH today.
Thoughts and prayers to the AMC team over there.
Right, yeah, good
never
people.
Stop working.
Good people.
Those guys are rock stars.
It's 10 o'clock, KUAM TV. My name's Chris.
I'm Jason.
Adios. And we're back to close out the show once again. Hey, ladies and guys. I posted your picture up on Instagram, and Glenn Lujan, because I put, hey, ladies, he's single, and Glenn was like, only the ladies, so I want to open that up. Okay. He's taking all comers.
2021, man.
Exactly.
There we go. All right. So we were just talking about doing that walk run, which is beyond challenging. Pago Bay to East Agana Bay, that is no joke. So why don't you get involved with the 17th annual LifeWorks Guam Out of the Darkness, our community walks event. That's on Saturday, the 25th, and you can get a really good. It's a virtual walk, so you can get a good workout, get warm. And Marie Halloran is here. She is, of course, with Rainbows for All Children, a very good friend of our show. Marie, half a day. Oops. Oh, you're muted, Marie. Unmute, please. One more time.
You can hear me?
There you go.
Oh,
there's that lovely voice that I have not heard in some time. Good morning. Half a day.
Good morning. Actually, we were supposed to have a processional walk, but because of COVID, we halted the part that you walk. So we're only going to have the virtual participation.
Okay.
The presenters are going to be over at the Micronesia Mall, but we do have a Zoom link that participants or people that are interested to join us will get the Zoom link. And I think I gave it to Betty Ann.
Oh yes, we're putting it up.
Yes.
So we want to make sure so people can register.
Again, this is our 17th year. Last year was the first year that we did virtual, and we had about 200 participants.
Mm-hmm. Well, Marie, there's nothing like the real thing, especially when it comes to community athletic events. But the virtual ones are really, really fun. I've participated in them, and they're really fun.
I think personally, it's best to have, like you said, face-to-face, because you could see the emotions and actions and all the camaraderie and friendship. But then, because COVID came and we can't really risk the situation. But I'm glad that the general is having a fun run. If I had known that it would be open, we wouldn't have closed the processional run, but it's okay. So
well, better safe than sorry, you said. I mean, no shame in that. And anybody that knows you knows how much you care about the community and about doing the right thing. So I mean, that's to your
thank you. I think that with this very sensitive topic of suicide, it's something that is not fun to talk about, but we do need to address it. And it's one of the 10 leading causes of death here on Guam. And I think that with us having this virtual participation, those people that are suffered a loss through suicide, they're no longer suffering in silence. There's camaraderie, friendship, and support. So in these virtual presenters, we have Father Jeff San Nicolas, who's a co-celebrant, and Pastor Robert Colino, and then we do have a choir, and then we have 6 survivors of suicide that's going to share their personal experience and how they cope with the loss of their loved ones. So it's a very moving event, and we're going to have like an altar on the stage wherein we can see the photos of those loved ones that have lost and mementos, and we're encouraging people to bring photos so we can, because this memorial service is for those that have died from self-harm. So again, it is a very profound service, but it is a need. Like LifeWorks Guam, this is the only event that they come out and show our support. Also, we are doing this in combination with the states. So we are part of that movement that they're doing, the Out of the Darkness and community walks. So again, it's very powerful since Guam is where America's Day began. So it always begins with us.
Absolutely.
And I do thank KUAM for always supporting our cause.
Well, it's our pleasure, Marie. And thank you. And remember, everybody, we had the registration poster up. We're going to put it back up in the comment section. If you would like to take part in the virtual walk, and like I said, a lot of fun. Marie does fantastic work over there. But Marie, we are way out of time, so I got to go. It's already 10:06. So thank you very much. It's good to see you as always.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting us in.
All right, thank you. And let's end the show with Cover Me Right Now, brought to you, everybody, by Docomo Pacific and Burger King. I'm Jason Salas for Sabrina, DJ Joe, Sir, and Chris. Thanks so much for watching The Link. We will see you tomorrow. Adios. Have a wonderful day, and please stay safe.
Well, the south side of Chicago is the baddest part of town. And if you go down there, you better just beware of a man named Leroy Brown. Yeah, Leroy, he a trouble, and he's standing about 6'4". All the downtown ladies call him treetop lover, all the men just call him sir. 'Cause he was bad Leroy Brown, the baddest man in the whole damn town. Badder than an old King Kong. Yeah, he was meaner than a junkyard dog. Yeah, Leroy, he a gambler, and he likes his fancy clothes. He liked to weave his diamond ring in front of everybody's nose. He got a custom Continental, he got an Eldorado too. He got a 32 gun in his pocket for fun, and a razor in his shoe. 'Cause he was bad Leroy Brown, the baddest man in the whole damn town. Better than an old King Kong. Yeah, he was meaner than a junkyard dog. Come on, man, what you got? Well, Friday, about a week ago, old Leroy shooting dice. And at the end of the bar sat a girl named Doris, and ooh, that girl looked nice. Well, he made his way on over there, and the trouble soon began. You see, Leroy Brown had learned a lesson about messing with the wife of a jealous man. 'Cause he was bad Leroy Brown, the baddest man in the whole damn town. Badder than an old King Kong. Yeah, he was meaner than a junkyard dog. Well, the two men started fighting, and when they pulled them from the floor, you see, Leroy Brown looked like a jigsaw puzzle with a couple of pieces gone. Yeah, he was bad Leroy Brown, the baddest man in the whole damn town. Badder than an old King Kong. Yeah, he was meaner than a junkyard dog. Said he was better than an old King Kong. He was meaner than a junkyard dog.